So, one day, a young guy toils away inside a mine, and he finally discovers what he'd been seeking, ink. He places it into a flask and thanks Nero for the assistance, saying he couldn't have managed it alone. He hopes if he delivers this, the Pioneer Corps might finally take him in. Exiting the humid cavern, he spots his city, that gleaming, radiant gem of their world. Back inside, the colorists had returned from their assignment, prompting cheers from everyone. Folks found their vivid hues incredible, and word was they'd defeated another massive beast. With these individuals present, the radiant city would remain eternally secure. Within the Shadow District, many individuals assembled, because a C-rank Pioneer Corps entrance test was happening, and all colored people could try out. That previous man got ejected though, since he'd been informed repeatedly. They said this area wasn't for his kind. He grew angry, asking why. He mentioned bringing ink. What was the issue? He showed his capability this way. The other guy couldn't believe he needed to explain it. He lacked color. Each person gets a set role at birth, but occasionally, someone foolish like him ignores their station. He lifted his arm, then launched a fiery attack close to the man. The man had to realize that only chosen ones could become pioneers. Weak individuals wouldn't last in the Black Land. Beyond the city limits, darkness covered everything, making it impossible to see. Many dangerous creatures hid within that gloom. These individuals risked their lives exploring the unknown, seeking treasures and vital resources. Their sacrifices secured humanity's future. They were the real heroes. Therefore, a colorless person like him couldn't succeed. His colorless nature meant colorless tasks. After that, the gates shut, leaving him outside, and Nero attempted to offer some solace. Nero told him it was okay, saying other places remained to try. This occurred frequently, and he was accustomed to it. He had, after all, vowed to become the top colorist. Following that, he hid the creatures inside his coat, keeping them from view. He then heads off to another spot. But while he's doing that, someone observes him from up high and they're really interested. The kid keeps trying repeatedly, but he has no success. It's another similar day. Sadly, he visits Mari's workshop, and she welcomes him, noting he looks down, so he probably got rejected once more. He confirms it, and Nero leaps to her side. She says those people lack talent recognition, adding he'd surpass most pioneers. The boy's angry they refuse colorless individuals regardless of their efforts. Mari's also surprised since he easily gets items from the Black Land. His abilities are already well established. He figures Nero's assistance is why and asks if she'd buy from him again. Mari agrees, saying she'll offer a fair price. She's been low on ink recently. It's been a real problem. He mentions they keep discussing increasing pioneer numbers because of that issue. Their entire existence relies on that ink. He hopes they'd accept him soon, since he's prepared to work hard. Mari asks Kei if he considered their previous conversation, but he's unsure what to make of it. That sort of location feels odd. She slams paper on the table, telling him he must try every possible option. He can't predict the outcome, and it's a huge chance. Kei examines it. He'd hesitated to apply, expecting failure. He questions if his abilities would even function there. Mari thinks this is a big chance, so he should attempt it. If it's truly merit-based, they'll definitely see his talent. He wants to become a pioneer, doesn't he? He said that since childhood, his family will back him up always. Kei agrees with her. He can't afford to be choosy. He'll also submit an application to Dawn Pioneer. He thanks Mari, saying he'd return shortly. While he's walking the streets and checking out the pamphlet, Nero starts to growl because the guy who watched him earlier is now right behind him and delivers a powerful blow, slicing Kei's back, and he hits the ground face first. Someone's shocked he's alive, but the attacker says it won't matter. He'll be dead shortly. No one would mourn a colorless person's demise anyway. Nero moved closer to his face, then started crying, and Kei, barely conscious, wished it would escape. Later, he regained awareness in a totally deserted area, and his attacker remarked on his terrible fortune. He'd now enter that spot while still living. This substance was waste from mixed ink colors. It's deadly for people. If he dropped in, no trace of him would remain. So, it's ideal for body disposal. Kei inhaled deeply and asked why they'd attacked him. The man confessed his own surprise, but said no one expected to discover such a valuable thing in the Shadow District. This creature was intelligent enough to track a person. Such an existence is truly rare and commands a high price. When Kei saw Nero, he tried to fight back, but the attacker knew a colorless like him was powerless. Selling that thing on the black market would mean retirement for them. It was too good for a colorless like him. Kei cursed his carelessness. He'd let his guard down. He always faced contempt and discrimination. But why were they taking Nero, his own family, for such a stupid reason? For the first time, true anger filled his mind. Then, a black mist appeared, and the attacker sensed something was happening. It felt like he was being pulled away. The attacker tossed Kei aside. He thought they'd already wasted too much time. They needed to rush and sell the item. Despite the grime, Kei's thoughts remained with Nero, but his body just wouldn't respond. He wondered if his life was truly ending so pathetically. He hadn't yet fulfilled that promise. Then, a voice suddenly called to him, asking why he was just lying there. Kei asked who spoke, and countless thoughts flooded his mind. He'd reclaim his color with a final command to finish everything. After that, all the darkness was swept away, and Kei's sight cleared completely. He wondered what had occurred, since he was in the ink, but he couldn't recall anything before that. Who was he? Nero's voice suddenly reached him. He then recalled needing to rescue Nero. Kei extended his arm. The two attackers were stunned because instantly the ink vanished. Something emerged. What truly terrified them hovered above. An entity of malevolent ink was lunging its lethal hand at them. Following this event, an elder yelled at officials, stating he witnessed the whole thing firsthand. A massive, shadowy hand suddenly appeared, devastating the whole zone. Of course, officials paid no attention to his account. Two investigators, one with red hair and another with purple hair, observed the victims. Luckily, these were the only casualties. They were B-rank pioneers, not known for good reputations. The purple-haired investigator still couldn't grasp it. What caused them to lose all color? The red-haired investigator felt it was crucial, but they needed to put that aside for now, since a giant creature had appeared within the city. The officer chief suddenly arrived, stating it was an honor to meet them. He was in charge, but asked what brought such busy people to the Shadow District. The red-haired investigator told him not to be nervous. They were there for a creature investigation request. He wanted to inspect the incident site, asking for a guide. The officer in charge immediately directed them to the location, and they surveyed the area, quickly discovering creature traces all over the zone. Black ink. The purple-haired investigator noted they tracked all recent large creature sightings. But for one to suddenly appear inside the city, even from the outskirts, felt too strange. Normally, this city only saw harmless small creatures, like cats, rodents, or avians. If this was a new mutation, what action would they take? The red-haired colorist advised against immediate conclusions. A bigger issue was how they would track it. This situation became a real headache he'd rather avoid, but no one else could handle it. Soon after, Kei started waking up while Nero licked his head. He quickly grabbed him, asking if he was okay. He felt truly relieved that he was, but also wondered what had occurred. He knew those guys were responsible. He'd fallen into the ink and then something occurred. Then he slowly started recalling his actions. He looked at his hands, noticing they now had color. His hair was even dyed the darkest black possible. He wondered how this was even possible. A sudden color change seemed inexplicable. The area was incredibly dark. He found it impossible to see anything clearly. He asked Nero for some assistance, and the small companion then leaped into the sky, releasing a potent light beam which showed ink creatures had been observing them. Kei felt an immediate dread. He wondered about their location. Was this the Black Land? This was the Black Forest, an area accessible only to B-rank pioneers or higher. The beasts appeared to be surrounding him. He told Nero they needed to leave, then ran off quickly. While they kept moving, Nero took on the role of his guide. He warned of any danger approaching and guided Kei's path with his light. But while Kei kept moving, he noticed something amazing. His body felt incredible. He'd been running forever, but wasn't tired at all. He moved way faster and far more nimbly. He was overflowing with energy. Then, unexpectedly, an ink wolf ambushed him. And since he was off balance, he couldn't dodge it. He put his hand up to defend. But the moment the wolf bit his hand, its teeth shattered, which stunned them both. The wolf then fled. Kei finds himself surprisingly unharmed. He truly expected a fatal blow. This must be Color's true power. Nero meows briefly at Kei because something much bigger approaches. It's an actual cyclops, far more dangerous than any forest creature. This deep forest predator shouldn't be here. The cyclops lifts its fist, then slams it into Kei, launching him into some roots. Nero sees this and instantly leaps at Kei, but Kei appears unharmed. Kei should feel fear, yet he somehow believes he can win. He finally has the color he always desired. Everything's changed for good. Running or hiding is no longer necessary. That sensation gradually returns to him, the power he unleashed before. He now releases it with far greater control. The Cyclops rushes Kei, aiming to pulverize him, but Kei just pulls back his fist, then leaps forward, tearing a massive hole right through the Cyclops and causing the whole forest to tremble. Yet, as he observes the forest, Kei starts perceiving it quite differently. He now perceives the whole forest's true colors, how vivid the leaves are, and the crystals sound in the water. But then his power vanishes as quickly as it came, and he drops to the ground, his body losing all its color. He now gets that using more power depletes it faster. He wonders what he'll do if this continues. Suddenly, the voice in his head starts telling him he shouldn't just stand there. It says his prey is right in front of him, so he needs to hurry and devour it. The color he wants is right there. It's simple. He just has to reach out and consume it. K, feeling restless, does exactly that. He places his hand on the Cyclops' remains. The ink suddenly absorbs into him like a singularity, threatening to consume the whole forest. Once that's done, he sighs in relief since it was extremely close. Way too close. He eventually heads to Mari's workshop, but she doesn't know him at first since he's covered. She asks why he's there. She wonders if he needs to make a request. Kay just walks closer, and Mari observes he looks very suspicious then, warning that if he approaches more, she'll bless him. Kay chose to frighten her. She instantly hid behind her big ranch. So Kay told her to relax, explaining it was him. But he figured she didn't recognize him now, did she? Mari felt confused, but that voice, it was Kay. She wondered what had happened to him. Once he explained what went down, she grabbed her tools, filled with rage, and mentioned her extreme anger. She couldn't let those bastards escape justice. Such people deserved a taste of this hammer. Kay reassured her, saying it was fine. He'd already repaid them plenty. Mari apologized, admitting she'd gotten a bit worked up. She had indeed lost touch, and she'd been worried. She never imagined such a thing could occur. But seriously, she was truly happy to see them both safe. Kay apologized for causing her concern, but Mari still struggled to believe it. First, he'd fallen into ink waste, and now he had color too. Black was the creature's color. Wouldn't people view him worse than previously? Kay didn't know, and what's done is done. He couldn't change it now. The main thing was, he finally had a real chance at becoming a colorist. Kay will handle other concerns later. His priority was the Pioneer Corps entrance exam, since he made it back right on schedule. Could he also get some borrowed clothes or equipment? He promised to repay her for sure this time. Mari thought about how often he had requested this. Still, she saw it as an investment for a future colorist. She guided him indoors, mentioning she had the perfect item for him. It would fit him perfectly, in fact. Many individuals assembled for the Pioneer Corps entrance exam, and one group commented on how nerve-wracking it felt. They thought the crowd was too large. Someone else advised staying sharp and calm. Another person noted that feeling nervous was normal. Such competition would definitely be intense. The first examinee expressed disbelief that the day for their Dawn Pioneer Corps exam had arrived. He felt they had truly succeeded. A red-haired examinee mentioned that joining a top Pioneer Corps was every pioneer's ultimate goal, particularly because they had conquered more Blackland territory than anyone else. As an S-rank team, the Dawn Corps also employed several colorists. People truly called them the city's shining hope, meaning many prominent figures were also present. Among them was the daughter from a renowned traditional color family, a prominent bounty hunter, and even some rising, well-regarded pioneers. That's the most popular person around. That's Gale the Storm Sword. He's a guaranteed pass. They say he's so skilled, he's even taken down monsters alone, but his violent temper causes him frequent trouble. His last corps reportedly expelled him. He's here now. The first examinee asked why he was so scared, stating that with some practice, those opponents wouldn't stand a chance. As they chatted, Gale overheard them, deciding they were just show-offs, all talk and no real ability. He found this really disappointing. He'd anticipated more from an S-rank corps, but this was their entire offering. No one truly stands out among them, apart from the girl beside him, Ellie Cyan. She's the Cyan family's second daughter, correct? The rumors proved true. Her color is actually good. He's eager to see her response. He couldn't act yet. An announcement came about the Dawn Pioneer Corps entrance exam starting. Then Dawn Corps colorists showed up, and the crowd started talking. People mentioned hearing the colorists helped defeat a massive creature recently. They figured if the colorist showed up personally, this year's recruitment was super important. But for others, seeing a colorist so close was their first time, and it felt really intimidating. A yellow-haired colorist greeted everyone, expressing thanks for their Dawn Pioneer Corps applications. He stated everyone likely came with personal goals and reasons like money, fame, or power, but he added that didn't truly matter. Ultimately, real skills were essential, and that's what mattered to them. They sought exceptional individuals able to enter the Blackland and reclaim human territory. Mediocrity wasn't welcome, so they needed to start immediately. He mentioned they likely noticed, but the initial test would be a tournament. Out in the field, a pioneer's combat skill is everything. It's pure survival. Weakness means death. It's the law of the wild. They'll prove their abilities here. Tournament outcomes decide who clears round 1. When their number's announced, they should go on stage. Gale's number gets announced, along with another's. Spectators are shocked to see a star fight so early, they feel a bit sorry for his opponent. Gale considers himself fortunate to watch the show start. He'd been incredibly bored, but he's wondering how to handle his opponent. Stepping onto the stage, he spots a creepy-looking person cloaked in darkness. The figure stands oddly, appearing utterly frail. that doesn't really matter, since things have been so dull lately. On a stage like this, holding back isn't necessary, right? He instantly activates his storm sword. Everyone's amazed he handles a spout so well at his age. It's clear why they call him a genius. Gale challenges his opponent to attempt a block, or face being sliced apart. His opponent, observing this, the moment Gale gets close, lands a powerful jaw punch, sending Gale crashing against the wall, which stunned everyone. No one understood how he managed that in a single blow. Gale was defeated in one strike. It seemed impossible. Kay observed that it truly surprised him. Kay wondered why the situation escalated so fast. His black hair immediately shocks people, since it's a creature's color. No one should have that color. Black Ink's power even took out the storm sword in one shot. Kay isn't nonchalant about this, though. He just wonders why everyone is so quiet. Maybe he messed something up. Kay wins his incoming fights with practiced ease. One guy tries throwing rocks at him, but Kay punches him out easily, and it's the same for his other two opponents. They really don't offer any challenge. The colorists find this kid really promising. He really stands out among this year's participants. No one's ever had black hair before. It's a first. Word will spread fast, so they need to claim him now. Suddenly someone arrives, saying they've been working hard. It's Chief Red. That's a unique name. Chief Red inquires about the test's progress. He mentions seeing the yellow-haired colorist, who questioned his presence. The colorist heard Red had a special assignment. He noted the assignment was stalled, making no progress, and caused him trouble, so Red chose to take a break. He asked if they had any promising candidates this time. One color was indeed confirmed. It wasn't only the Cyan family, but also a truly distinct individual with black hair. He apparently noticed this already. He even eliminated a top contender decisively. His acceptance is practically guaranteed, they said. The purple-haired colorist questioned if it was truly him. Red speculated a new color emerged following a strange event. That timing was certainly quite convenient. For now, they needed to observe him and see his capabilities. Kay felt pleased. He's on a winning streak. He can surely become a pioneer, but he still needs caution. Losing his color again from overuse would cause serious problems. Suddenly, a powerful ice surge distracted him. Ellie easily defeated another competitor. Spectators discussed the Cyan family's breathtaking color, calling it impressive as usual. They noted her genuine skills, typical for a prestigious family. It was truly remarkable. She pondered if anyone could defeat her while descending the stage, passing Kay, giving him a brief look before walking away, which confused him. The yellow-haired colorist declared the first round finished. He thanked everyone for their efforts, explaining they were behind schedule and would proceed directly to the next test. Those eliminated should return and attempt it again later. The examinees left without much complaint, hoping next year's attempt would be simpler, just before the yellow-haired colorist could reveal the next test. Red told him to pause. He wanted to handle this test himself. His appearance surprised everyone since he's among Shining City's best colorists. He holds the most accomplishments from reclaiming and hunting in the Black Land. His destructive power makes other colorists avoid him. Rumors say no one passes when he's in charge. They're definitely in trouble. The yellow-haired colorist questioned the wisdom of this. The core leader wouldn't like it, since altering the test was a privilege. Red replied it was fine. He'd face daily nagging regardless, so more wouldn't matter. He informed everyone the test was simple. They only needed to endure. Suddenly, he unleashed his color on them, trapping them in fiery bubbles. He explained he'd recreated part of an environment he'd experienced. It would get quite hot. The Black Land features all sorts of brutal environments. People barely survive in them. What he just used felt cozy, like a heated room by comparison. This is easy. They must hold on. Then they pass. But if it's too much, they never had a chance. The heat instantly shocked most examinees. It was just too much. How harsh is the Black Land really? They attempted to counter the power using their own color, but it barely made an impact. All they could do was try. The colorist with yellow hair heard Red had been slacking on training, but his skills weren't rusty at all. Perhaps those rumors were false, since he instantly gave everyone a barrier. His control was incredible. That's just what reaching the top means, right? Suddenly, however, and quite naturally, Ellie easily broke out of her barrier, using her icy color. This was even with an ability completely opposite to the Cyan families. She went right through it. That kid's truly a genius. Red also watched the other guy with black hair. He seemed to still be holding on, but he couldn't actually break free, right? He likely expected too much from his first try. Kay, though, is reeling. This is really bad. He has no idea what to do. The last battle consumed too much color. He should have conserved it, not acted foolishly. He curses it all. Holding out accelerates his color's depletion. It's already slowly diminishing. If his color vanishes here, people will consider him a test subject. Or worse, he can't just stay here. There must be another solution. Can he absorb something? Like before. He then considers absorbing the shield. It's made of color power after all, so he might be able. He's unsure how far this absorption goes. Even if it's risky, he still has to try. He places his hand on the shield, and suddenly, all the color from every shield. The color pulls directly into his hand, spinning around him like a catalyst. Red initially feels shocked, but then a smile appears, realizing they truly found the crazy one this time. Everyone simply stares, totally silent, as Kei, naturally quite scared, watches. This wasn't his plan at all. He became too noticeable. For Ellie, this test held great importance. She aimed to demonstrate the power she'd trained intensely for. A completely new color, never before seen, stole the spotlight. A bit of anxiety crept into her. Her family always taught her peak performance, so she couldn't fall behind. Not if it bothered her sister. Kei's strength was overwhelming. Going all out wouldn't guarantee her victory. He had an aura beyond mere strength. It felt like something deeper. Who exactly was he? His identity didn't matter. She wouldn't lose this way again. Red approached Kei, observing this was likely Black Ink's power. Its glow was unique. He'd absorbed everything. He was very curious and asked Kei to share more about his power. They could talk privately, and he'd respect Kei's privacy. Kei inquired about the test, but Red assured him not to worry, saying he'd definitely passed. Kei then agreed to take it if that was true. Kei was surprised he'd passed. Had getting noticed actually helped him? Perhaps he was finally a pioneer. Red informed the yellow-haired pioneer he'd leave everything to them, but the yellow-haired pioneer responded the test wasn't over. He accused Red of doing his own thing again. Red promised to compensate, and the yellow-haired pioneer gave in. He apologized for the other examiner's interruption, confirming the test would proceed, except for number 17, who'd advanced independently. Everyone else would move to an extra round. Ellie desired happiness, but her eyes tracked Kei and Red as they left. Soon after, they reached a spot Kei knew well, where he'd once fallen into the ink waste. Red mentioned it was a tough area. An incident happened there recently. 2 pioneers, previously color holders, lost their colors there. It was unprecedented, some white eyewitnesses reported. They claimed a giant creature emerged from the ground. Then he appeared as the first Black Ink. The timing was wild, and he could absorb colors. He's definitely different. Kei attempted to look away, but this person understood him immediately. Kei couldn't escape him. Fleeing was impossible. Other colorists even consider him a hero. Red saw Kei's flustered expression, then waved a dismissive hand. He said he was just teasing, but Kei's honesty wasn't much fun. Red's job was to investigate the situation, but he was really interested in Kei's ability. That Black Ink and its power. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen. Color abilities usually seem simple and can't be mixed. However, Kei's power ignores all those rules. The second test showed Kei couldn't fully control it either, which is why he ended up absorbing everything nearby. Kei couldn't deny it, but Red actually wanted to give him a proper test. Didn't Kei want to know what his power could truly do? How it worked? Kei should grab Red's hand and try absorbing some of his own ink. Kei immediately refused. What if something went wrong? Red told him not to worry about him. Kei should talk less and act more. That's how a colorist acts, after all. Red thinks black represents the Black Land and the Black Witch. He views it as a misfortune symbol. It consumes everything. Allowing this kind of power to run wild isn't smart. If misused, it might destabilize the city's entire foundation. There's one more thing, though. It's still not public. Human-shaped creatures even exist out in the wild. If Kei proved to be one, he might need to eliminate him immediately. Kei finally agrees and takes his hand, saying he'll do it. But if anything goes wrong, it's not his fault, okay? After that, he starts to release his power, instantly filling his entire soul with the red ink. This completely burns him. He attempts to stop since he can't control the heat. It feels like lava flows within him. His power just overwhelms. It has no end. This color belongs to a hero named Red, right? Red, though, isn't impressed. It keeps absorbing without stopping, like it's starving. Strong colorists might resist this, but for most others it's super dangerous. There's more to this than their tests showed. He needs to see how Kei uses the absorbed color. Then suddenly red color ink explodes from Kei, and Kei gets a totally new appearance. He now looks just like a creature. Kei definitely caused this event. The observer has much to learn about him. But first, he must act. He needs to restrain Kei before Kei attacks. Kei starts to growl and scream, fighting this power. The voice inside his head says it's intense. It demands more. It craves this overwhelming power. It's hot, so flavorful. It wants more. Kei starts to block the voice, ordering it to back off. His strong will lets him regain control, completely suppressing it. This surprised Red. Kei believed he was truly finished. He'd suddenly lost control. He wondered what happened. Losing it before the colorist of all people was bad. He needed to quickly understand his ability. He approached, noting the power felt overwhelming, but it did work, he thought. Red mentioned this was quite exciting, honestly, and said it was good. That was sufficient for a test. Also, he'd likely noticed he's been managing everything here since his hiring. He needed to discover who was responsible, and a very suspicious person stood right before him. This case had major interest, and with his powers and color, he'd be a prime suspect if any rumors spread. Even though this happened outside the city, the damage probably hit millions. Kei could cover the cost, but officials might exile him, or worse, use him as a test subject. Kei gives in. He sees no escape. He's a victim as well. What is he? What should he do? Red minimized the problem. He offered help if Kei joined him. Kei immediately agreed, bowing. Red explained he wouldn't fix everything. He'd only have some tasks Kei could assist with. Could Kei handle that? Kei knew he wouldn't pay a huge fine or be a lab rat. He'd do anything to settle this. He agreed to whatever was necessary. Red wanted to hear that. He drove away in a reinforced vehicle. It seemed more like a ship. Kei felt he'd never gone this far. Was this the first step of pioneering? Gale, also in the vehicle, said Kei made him nervous. Kei needed to stop distracting him and just sit. Kei felt starting real pioneer work was what he'd hoped for. He was a team member with Gale and the rest. But this kind of thing was actually happening. Red had previously mentioned wanting him for an exploration. Red had a specific spot in an unknown area, and it seemed his assistance would be crucial. Noticing his concern, Red assured him he wouldn't be by himself. He didn't need to worry excessively. All new recruits were joining, so he was simply one of many. The Corps would announce the expedition plan very soon. More details would follow. He just needed to arrive promptly and appear at the specified location. Once he boarded the vehicle, these individuals were already there, waiting. Red's involvement disrupted the whole exam, so to ensure fairness, everyone received a second chance. That's how many strong candidates cleared the additional test, and Ellie, the top scorer, requested to join Red's team personally. Gale couldn't believe this clueless individual had managed to shame him. He'd only dropped his guard for a moment. Just a single one. He wouldn't rely on luck next time. Once this exploration finishes, he'd be prepared. Had Lavian not been directly behind him, he would have crushed him right there. Ellie told him to forget it. He'd just get knocked out once more. He was wasting his energy. Kei was completely out of his league. Plus, she'd challenge him first. They'd made eye contact earlier and both agreed, so if he lost, he needed to stay quiet and await his turn. Kei hadn't actually agreed to it. The eye contact only signaled consent, and observing their energies, he questioned if this would truly succeed. They reached a Dawn Pioneer outpost. It was highly mechanized and organized. Kei's previous trips into the Blackland, he'd always prepared alone. He didn't know it could be this organized. An S-Class Corps truly makes a difference. The supply setup is massive. Everything's covered. Then someone poked his cheek, wondering why he was distracted. Kei was thrilled to see Mari. She really showed up and she confirmed it. She felt she needed to be there for his first mission. Nero was also present. Kei thanked her for watching over him during his absence. She replied it was no trouble, adding that Nero was also family. Furthermore, joining the Dawn Corp expedition offered a fantastic chance for her. Her abilities would be very useful, making it a valuable learning experience. Abruptly, a voice announced assembly time, telling everyone to gather as scheduled. Entry into the Blackland was imminent. Kei returned Nero to her, mentioning he needed to depart. Mari advised him against recklessness. She then told a fidgeting Nero not to be sad, assuring him Kei would return quickly. But then, Nero suddenly leaps from her grasp, then merges with his shadow. This startles her. She's unsure what's happening, but she can't stop Kei at this point, so she wonders if it's fine. An orange-haired woman instructs everyone to prepare. They're entering the Blackland soon. She reminds them safety is paramount, regardless of the mission. Scouts reported Area 21 has unknown, dangerous creatures. An A-rank creature's corpse was also found there, making it extremely hazardous. While she tells everyone to stay alert, someone addresses her as Lady Arancia and runs up. Informing her, Chief Red took new recruits and abandoned their assigned formation without authorization. Her gaze widens, and she questions its truth. The man verified it. She scratched her head, finding it hard to believe. It looked like they'd have to get those rookies back safely. Red's team then went into the Blackland. Kei noticed the expedition team was going elsewhere. He wondered if Red was fine with them being there. Red explained their destination wasn't the same, but Kei disliked this, since all the rookies were also there. He questioned why they were bringing them. Red mentioned it wasn't his intention to babysit everyone, but with him present, serious harm wouldn't occur. He likely already knew that. Time to stop talking. They needed to get going. They reached a clearing full of shadowy ink beasts and started fighting right away. Ellie easily used her cyan ink to defeat them, but she now realized this was the Blackland. The area felt suffocating, with creatures constantly appearing from all directions. This actual combat differed greatly from her training. She also needed to monitor her energy. Wasting it meant running out quickly. Her movements needed more precision, and she had to plan. She wouldn't be relying on Kei. Then she watched him handle a creature. Her gaze widened, and she inquired if he lacked a spoit. He hadn't used one during the entrance test either. Kay, looking puzzled, told her he simply didn't own one. Those things cost a lot, and he thought he could manage. So, he never actually used one. Both of them were totally bewildered. He truly never used one. A spoit is an essential tool for pioneers battling creatures. Defeating these creatures requires mixing colors into them using a spoit, but this person simply defeated them without any weapons. Gale started trembling. He then faced the person who didn't even use a spoit and couldn't inflict any damage. His resolve strengthens. He promises to personally defeat Kay one day. Upon observing this, Red simply smirks. He thinks this situation is quite good. It needs two brilliant minds to ignite such passion, he figures. Events will definitely become more engaging. Regardless, he urges them forward. They're nearly at their destination, so they need to exert a bit more effort. They'll quickly clear this area, then they can celebrate. Following the defeat of several additional ink monsters, Red grants them a brief pause. He reminds them they haven't truly begun, so they can't relax their vigilance. They should reassemble individually for 10 minutes. Then they'll depart once more. Gale retrieves a vial, expressing disbelief at how quickly he used up so much color. Kay glances over and notices he's consuming personal ink. This is a special alchemically processed ink that replenishes color and vitality. It's a crucial item for any pioneer. It's custom crafted to suit each individual's distinct color, making it quite costly. They're just drinking it down like it's water. He's definitely envious, but he doesn't even need it. Ellie notices him leaving and questions his actions, before he just consumes the ink beasts they previously defeated. He should be completely healed after that. That's pretty good. Ellie asks if he's alright, and he tells her he's perfectly fine. He's done this many times before. Ellie seems a bit puzzled. He simply absorbed the monster, and there's no issue. Gale figures this person is truly crazy. He just ingests it without a second thought. Before more speculation, Red informs them their break ended. They've had sufficient rest, he says. They need to move since they're already here. They soon discover a type of dark barrier, and Kay questions what it could be. Red clarifies this is exactly why he led him to this spot. He needed to witness it personally. A red blast then shot from him, hitting the barrier. Attempts to forcibly breach it only made it dissipate. The barrier absorbs any power, becoming much tougher. The absorption mechanism resembled his own ability, so he suspected his power might dismantle the barrier. Beyond the barrier lay a route into the ruins, and their mission objective was located within those ruins, specifically Stella fragments. Kay's eyes widened when he heard this, while the others questioned what a Stella fragment actually was, but Kay said nothing. Red simply informed them that Shining City desperately sought it, promising a later explanation. First, they needed to focus on removing the barrier. Kay approaches the barrier, then he touches it. The barrier instantly starts swirling into him. This makes Red genuinely smile. He says it's truly working, noting the barrier's disappearance. His power will likely prove very useful moving forward. But then the others detect an extremely loud vibration. They barely start discussing the noise when a whole army of ink beasts shows up, drawn by the sound. Red had anticipated this. A huge group arrived to support them. They'll deal with these monsters as Kay dismantles the barrier. He tells the two to clear them out. Gale goes forward. He releases his ink, which moves like wind, to rip the monsters apart, and Ellie mirrors him, calling forth glaciers to pierce the monsters. Red feels impressed. He stood by, prepared to intervene, but that wasn't necessary whatsoever. He had expected to tidy up for these newcomers, but they're fine to bring by himself. It's good when things take care of themselves. While Kay keeps absorbing, he senses something's wrong. He detects a similar power. The barrier emits it. It's black, just like his. Losing focus for a second could let it drain his color. It's a power struggle, yet he's more powerful. He pushed again, pulling in the whole zone's barrier. This exposed the ruin's entry, which resembled a deep chasm. He informed Red of his success. Red was happy to hear that, realizing her instincts had been spot on. He informed the others the barrier was gone, telling them to relax and gather there. They didn't need to wipe out every single one. But then his eyes widened when a white light flashed in the sky, and he grabbed Ellie and Gale, preventing them from being shredded by a strike that tore the very earth below them. Gale was shocked by what he saw. There were scratch marks on the ground, like something tried to kill them. Red looked him over. She knew things were going too smoothly. Information reached him about a dangerous entity nearby, but naturally it appeared at this moment. They realized there was no longer any time for delay. The ink monster resembled a human, carrying many weapons. It was a vengeful spirit. Red instructed them to pay attention and enter the ruins immediately. They needed to cooperate to locate the Stella fragments. They could definitely handle this task. Kay questioned how they would manage it by themselves, but Red simply urged him forward, explaining they lacked time for discussion. Kay kept yelling, asking what they were meant to accomplish so low, but Red's full focus was now on the ink demon ahead. An epic fight is about to begin. Once Kay hits the ground, he feels his entire body ache. Red's landing could have been softer. Kay turns on the lamp Red provided, and his gaze widens, seeing something terrifying. He sees many unfamiliar, completely modern buildings. Kay finds this sight amazing. It's hard to believe such a place exists this far below ground. The rest of the group appears as well. Gale mentions the darkness, but Ellie tells him to stop complaining and move towards the glowing area. Kay feels relieved to see them, having thought he was stranded alone. Ellie points out they had been aimlessly roaming because of this bastard, but Gale argues she was equally at fault, having gone around the same corner multiple times herself. Kay wonders what this area is. It's much larger than he expected. He never expected to discover evidence of an old civilization here. They called those items stella fragments, he recalls. How can they locate such things within these massive ruins? They don't even know their appearance. Kay realizes that's true. Blind searching would take ages. When situations get tough, he really wants Nero's help. But then Nero, feeling the call, grabs his leg, startling Kay. Kay kneels and asks why he's there, but Ellie sees him too. Ellie asks if it's an ink creature. Kay believes he's in trouble. What's his next move? Since it's visible, making excuses is pointless. But maybe that's fine. This could be an opportunity. He couldn't keep Nero hidden as a pioneer indefinitely. If he proves Nero's usefulness, they might go easy on him. He asks them to approach briefly, since he might have a simple method for finding stella fragments. Following his explanation, Gale attempts to understand the situation. Kay confirms the small creature he cares for will guide them to the stella fragment. They're sure to locate it. While they argue, Ellie ignores it all, enjoying Nero's company. He seems a bit confused and annoyed. Kay tells Nero they should start and prove his amazingness to this idiot. With that, Nero leaps from Ellie's grasp and transforms into a white luminous glow, surprising Gale, but Ellie feels a bit sad about it. Following Kay, Gale finds this incredible. It's a creature that obeys a human and has a special power. He'd never heard of anything similar. Kay wonders if Nero can sense it. He thinks the stella fragment is nearby. Nero hears this, then focuses his senses. He eventually finds something. It's a white ink fragment. He starts rushing toward it. Everyone follows. They enter what looks like a bunker. They're already deep, so how much further is there? Gale asks why he's pausing. He wonders if he's afraid, saying he could remain there if so. Kay disagrees with that. Once they get inside, they find a pretty big space, appearing like a storage area, but they can't tell. Nero abruptly shifts course and halts near what looks like a door. Then unexpectedly, a robot shows up, hitting the floor in front of him with incredible force. Gale believes Kay's small monster found something, but he wonders what it is. It doesn't resemble a creature. It's more like some kind of machine. Then it starts scanning Ellie. It instantly finds her hex color code. Next, it scans Gale, repeating the process. Kay figures out its purpose, but when it scans him, the machine halts and finds his hex number is 0. The Black Witch's color was detected. It now considers him a threat, so the robot attacks, punching him hard. Kay blocked the incoming strike. As the others rush from behind, Kay shoves his hand into the robot, pushing it back a bit. He can't tell what it's made from. Before it can strike back, Ellie hits it with her power and Gale follows suit, but it leaves no mark. Her powers aren't working, so it's probably not a creature. The ink in its core must be the weak spot. They have to hit it. Kay charges in and strikes the robot's side, but it's totally unaffected, and it tries to hit Kay again. Kay barely dodges it. Regular attacks do nothing. He needs a new plan. He'll coat himself in black like last time. That should work. That consumes true color fast. So he'll just coat his fist in black, which takes only seconds. Just as the robot moves to strike, he delivers his blow, totally destroying the robot, but its core remained whole. Still, after that, the robot shut off. Kay lets out a relieved sigh, since that thing proved more bothersome than expected. He then notices the core and observes it's unlike the usual ones. Mari will totally love it if he takes it to her, but the others questioned his recent power. Ellie believed he only absorbed color, so she needed a clear explanation. She'd use it as a guide for future battles. Gale mentioned he should have used it sooner if it was always available, but Kay asked why they were griping, since they weren't the ones affected. That move demands much color, so he only deploys it when truly essential. Unexpectedly, though, the door Nero was at swung open, revealing a dark void. Nero then emerged from cover, pointing at the door, indicating something was definitely present. Kay saw nothing at all, so he questioned its safety, wondering if it resembled the barrier they saw earlier. But then, the moment he touched it, something started pulling them inward, and they couldn't stop it, so the black void pulled them in. Once they recovered, they questioned their current predicament. The darkness prevents them from seeing clearly, only their bodies are visible. They've lost all color. All other things appear drained of hue, but K retains his. Back in the city's core, within the Eastern Administration Office, a big, portly man hit the table with his fist while reviewing a pile of documents. He asked his secretary if anyone had located him and where he went. The secretary paused before replying that he was currently on an expedition with Red. The portly man was in disbelief, questioning how black ink could be brought into the field. He wondered what Red was thinking, stating that while Red might be a hero, he had overstepped this time. After that creature showed up in the city, officials attempted to conceal it, preventing public panic. The council is already furious, claiming the black tide has begun its reappearance. He can't tell them anything. They'd just dismiss him, and the problem would remain. Camellia just smiled, observing his bad mood had returned. She warned he'd be hospitalized if his behavior continued. Camellia, the Dawn Pioneer Corps captain, understood his concerns. However, she advised him not to overthink things. Red was accompanying the boy, wasn't he? That fact alone provided their best protection. Nobody else was suitable for the task anyway. Perhaps by intentionally bringing a high-risk individual, he planned another surprise. They needed trust in the colorists, not fear or uncertainty at this moment. She sipped her coffee, finding it too bitter, so she threw in a handful of sugar cubes. The director understood her message. With Red present, the worst outcome was unlikely. But even so, she knew his wariness toward black also had a reason. It stemmed from the Black Ink Witch, didn't it? The color black posed a threat. It represented death and dread, particularly after the witch initiated the first black tide. Humanity almost vanished then. Creatures emerged. Dark fog enveloped the world, transforming it into the Black Land. The tide would eventually return. This city had already repelled multiple waves, both major and minor. The next danger was inevitable. Their desperate efforts to exploit and reclaim land were purely for survival, correct? He'd received a report on the recent increase in odd city phenomena, hadn't he? Now, a black-aligned individual had also emerged. They remained unsure how these two events linked, or if they even did. One fact was certain. For what lay ahead, maximum firepower would be essential. Lord Luminous had stated they must utilize every available asset, even black ink. He needed to persuade the council. The director sighed, noting that was simpler to suggest than accomplish. Bureaucrats prefer feeling safe over being safe. He'll give it his all, but the outcome is uncertain. This kid could become central to Shining City's future. The three in the ruins wondered what occurred. Gale recalled their colors vanished, so why did Kay retain his? Kay didn't know why. Perhaps it's his black ink. Suddenly, both felt incredibly weak. Their bodies lost all strength just from talking. Kay questioned the reason. He felt fine, but wondered if it was their first time lacking color. Also, he'd felt a strange sensation since entering this space. When he focused his gaze, he sensed something visible within them. They began hearing much incomprehensible speech. Gale instantly drew his weapon, demanding the speakers reveal themselves. Kay had heard these whispers previously. It was similar, yet something felt wrong. He sensed something bad was imminent. A woman's form materializes beside them. They stare, thinking she's a creature, but then she points at Kay. Kay's mind gets pulled elsewhere. He witnesses a power vortex demolishing this city. He observes a pure black ink being summoning countless city-leveling creatures. Amidst everything, he spots the Witch of Black. She gazes at him with empty, slit eyes. Kay questions what this is, if it's a memory or reality. He ponders his identity. Then he recalls something else. Someone gave him the name Kay, telling him to find his own light and color. Before hearing anything more, he's pulled from that vision, leaving him shocked and recoiling. He questions what that was, but ultimately he definitely saw something. He wondered if Lumiel endured something similar. Gale swings his blade wildly. He questions Kay's actions, and Ellie pleads for everything to cease. Dark ink covers both their eyes, and they appear to see their worst nightmares, each manifesting uniquely. Kay sees their distress, and the earlier creature remains. This isn't a place to linger. They must exit quickly. Then, Nero appears. He seems comfortable in this area, but he begins to tremble, trying to show Kay something. Kay realizes he should follow Nero's path. They'll investigate it, but first, he must handle these two. He asks Nero if his ability can help, and the small creature attempts it. He releases his white aura circularly. The aura pulls them from their perceived nightmares. Kay likes what he sees. He tells them to wait there while he checks ahead. He follows Nero's path, but it feels like an endless walk. He still sees nothing. That whisper returns. He hears it again, and this time he understands its words. It says no color can ever stain him. Kay's tired of the cryptic messages. Then, a light appears far off, and he sprints towards it. He locates their objective, the Stella fragment. Its appearance suggests it's the one, but its glow and shape differ from earlier. Perhaps each fragment has a unique form. But that's not important now. He needs to grab it and leave. He couldn't remain in that unsettling spot. When he made contact with the Stella fragment, it started shining with many different hues, and his absorption unexpectedly activated, without him knowing. He figured it'd be okay, as that absorption lasted just a moment, then appeared to cease. Then, when he gripped the Stella fragment more firmly, the dark area surrounding them vanished entirely. Kay didn't react like a typical person or show amazement. He just observed that this location held many mysteries. It always surprised him. He approached them, asking if they felt improved, and both were stunned. Ellie questioned how he remained perfectly fine within their darkness. Kay simply shrugged, then mentioned that, more significantly, he'd located the Stella fragment they sought. Gale realized this was Red's topic, but it was incredibly small. Ellie found it incredible, but wondered about all its colors, asking what it was. While their conversation went on, Nero eyed the Stella fragment with suspicion, before he opened his mouth and consumed it entirely, which surprised everyone. Kay told Nero that wasn't food, and Gale started shaking him, demanding he spit it out immediately or she'd remove it herself. Kay then shook Gale, telling her to stop. They kept arguing as the whole structure began to crack and the ceiling started falling. Kay wondered why everything was collapsing, and they all started running, needing to escape quickly. The expedition team looked around and finally found the location where a huge battle had occurred. Arancia now understood why it was called a dangerous entity. She'd been curious what it might be, but these marks clearly indicated one thing. That battle-crazed bastard had reappeared. It was the human-shaped creature, the Sword Demon. She had hoped it was just a minor territorial dispute between monsters, but naturally it was another one of the witch's dark agents. This entity always starts a fight and is quite sly. It's a real nuisance. Recent creature surges in pioneer zones might connect to its presence. Risk isn't an option. The probe stops now. They must all pull back. Her assistant questioned the wisdom as they neared their goal, but she disagreed. Their basic goal was met. Enough ink and materials were secured. She wouldn't risk anything further. The Black Land was just for new members to adapt. This experience is sufficient. But then, abruptly, a huge impact hit them from the rear, and saw red ink caused it. Then many razor-sharp attacks erupted from the spot, and Arancia ordered everyone to duck. A single group was too damaged to act, so she charged forward, wielding her powerful hammer. She smashed the attack, halting it completely. She informed them the expedition had officially concluded. The group must now head back to base. She's meeting Chief Red. The others are heading back. She leaps off. As expected, Red battles the Sword Demon. Their fight continues, blow after blow landing. The Sword Demon draws a spear, attempting to pierce Red, but he deflects the strike, sending the spear away. This leaves Red exposed, so the Sword Demon takes the chance. Red blocks once more, then unleashes a powerful red ink, forcing the Sword Demon to fall back. Arancia gets there, saying the baiting move worked well. She's curious if he'll evade her next strike. She then delivers a powerful hit to the Sword Demon, slamming him down hard. Red points out her tardiness, saying things nearly went wrong. She instructs him to get serious. Her strike lands true. She connected with the Sword Demon, but that wasn't enough to defeat the creature. How strong is it really? Red states her color is sufficient. They'll easily manage this irritating foe. However, they must not hold back. Arancia considers her timely arrival fortunate, since no colorist, herself included, wishes to witness his true power. He's aware of that. With her presence, they ought to sever another of the witch's black hands, correct? Sword Demon understands his weak position. He lacks what's needed. He'll be defeated. While he's thinking, Kay's voice suddenly sounds, saying they've nearly arrived. Everyone's eyes grow wide when from Sword Demon's rear, other voices start emerging. And just like that, they show up. Kay notices an unfamiliar person ahead, plus another far behind. The colorists rush forward, hoping for timely arrival. Red yells for them to retreat, but Sword Demon's already in motion. He leaps at the others, and Gale and Ellie instantly respond. But Sword Demon delivers a single blow, scattering them. He then prepares a broad, lethal attack. The attack hits Kay, who moved to shield the others and absorbed the impact. Even with his arm strengthened by black ink, the strike pierced through and Kay collapses. Before anyone else could respond, Gale takes a punch to the stomach, and Ellie is seized. The Sword Demon commands the colorists to halt. He instructs them to make way and avoid pursuit. He demands the key, insisting they surrender it. If they refuse, he'll eliminate these weak ones. Kay is down on the ground, and a tiny creature next to him weeps. They're in a standoff now, and the demon is about to fully sever Ellie's neck. But before anyone can respond, something occurs. Kay rises deliberately, projecting an aura. The Sword Demon can't help but stare, terrified. Kay's form has fully shifted to ink. His severed hand then slowly reforms. The sword demon can't comprehend it. He wonders how Kei got up and why a human possesses black ink. With his reformed hand, Kei starts pulling the sword demon closer. He unleashes a power far beyond anything encountered before, surprising the colorists. Kei grabs the sword demon's neck, lifting him airborne, and Arancia seizes the chance to tell the others to leave fast. Red feels confused. He wonders if Kei was consumed by the darkness. Perhaps Kei even transformed into one of those dark hands. The sword demon senses it. This foe is taking his whole being. It's not just his mind playing tricks. This feels just like that witch. He senses those eyes staring right through him. So, it was this guy. He'd been the key the whole time. Then, many strange mouths emerge from Kei's hand and slowly advance toward the demon's face, intending to consume him entirely. But before that occurs, the sword demon draws his final blade and slices the mouths apart. He realizes he can't just grab the key this way. He'd become too unstable, so first he severs his own arms and legs. Those are always replaceable. He then delivers a barrage of extremely lethal blows, but his blade doesn't penetrate Kei. He grabs his weapon, then summons dark ink onto the floor. The sword demon leaps back, avoiding being consumed, but this turn of events surprises him. He hadn't expected this outcome. Spotting a chance, Arancia charges in, slamming her hammer into his weapon, shattering it. This makes him retreat. He sees the danger is too great, so he pulls back. He found the key, and that's enough intel. So he starts to flee. This annoyed Arancia. She thought he shouldn't flee after his rampage. He only ran when things turned against him. Arancia instructs Red to intercept him before he gets to the depths. Red's already pursuing him, questioning his destination. He releases a massive amount of power, infusing his blade and chroma, which extinguishes Flamestrike, severing the sword demon's hand and the ground directly in front. He permanently loses a hand because of chroma. The sword demon lacks regeneration. Red relentlessly chases the sword demon, attempting a frontal assault. The sword demon evades his attacks, each intended to be fatal. He promises the next time won't end like this. The key will belong to him, and he'll earn her favor. After saying that, he leaps into the shadows. He goes way deeper than them. Arancia wanted to keep pursuing him, but Red refused. He said going further in was too risky. She stomped the ground in frustration. They almost had him, then lost him again. Red said it was unavoidable. They weren't equipped to enter the depths, even with light behind them. This is their limit now. It's annoying that the Black Land itself practically shields them. The other two returned with Ellie. They apologized for only getting in the way, but Red said it was fine. He was just glad they were all alive. Arancia noted that meeting that thing and having no casualties was pure luck. Red just coughed and said, more importantly, what were they supposed to do with him now? Was he even still there at this point? He knew Kei's power was risky, but not like this. What was that thing behind him? Was he surrounded by it? Was he actually absorbing the Black Land itself? Suddenly, the black around him began to dissipate, but he didn't revert to an ink state. His form becomes colorless, and he then drops to the floor, faintly glowing. Everyone simply watches him, unsure what his true nature is. He constantly surprises them. The sword demon vanishes into the shadows, and the chroma from his hand keeps draining him until he completely removes it, allowing him to regenerate. Then, another person speaks, mentioning he arrived ahead of her but looks terrible. She asks if he got beaten up once more. He really shouldn't interfere in matters unprepared. The sword demon identifies the voice as Vipers, who is with a rather timid companion. She walks around him, stating she felt bored and this situation was ideal. She inquires what occurred, finding it unlikely he was simply defeated. She then asks who he fought. She spots burn marks from intense heat. It's pure red, no other colors. He battled red, right? He even lived through it. The sword demon tells her to leave, but she won't. She agrees red is too powerful for a person. Someone who burns themselves out fighting will likely self-destruct eventually, won't they? He's not answering her earlier question. He saw it too, didn't he? The Black Witch's veil opened. She knows he witnessed it, but did he understand its opening? The sword demon disregards her, thinking he'd never reveal that. If the key's identity becomes known, they'll lose, so he'll claim it personally. Viper grows bored and returns to her sister. She notes that by hiding it so intensely, he's making it clear something's happening, isn't he? He's truly an idiot, but whatever. They'd figure it out on their own regardless. Viper understands that. His reaction suggests something's off about that veil opening, right? It likely involves the city people. She's got a perfect solution to shift things. They've been developing a special puppy for some time. This will be quite thrilling. Naturally, they return towards the city, and everyone, including Mary, stares at Kai. Red then speaks up, admitting he has no excuse. He'd confidently stated nothing would occur, but he couldn't uphold that pledge. He's apologetic. He takes full responsibility for what occurred. Apparently, he hasn't changed at all, even now. Ellie tells him, Given rookie pioneers' survival rates, they're fortunate things concluded this way. In fact, everyone survived because of them both, chiefs. She also vows she won't hold anything back next time and will become stronger. Mary herself just wonders what's happening. Mary is stunned to find the city's renowned colorist here. Kai's teammates, they claimed, appeared unexpectedly. Kai's condition worried her initially, but they appeared decent, which is a comfort. Still, why isn't he awake yet? She can't manage everything by herself. The nurse confirmed nothing was wrong, so he should awaken shortly. Red approaches her, mentioning Kai's condition was not a concern, as she'd heard. He also had a question. They're searching for a tiny creature named Nero. Did she know its location? Suddenly, Gale spots it, pointing it out as it emerges from Kai's shadow, appearing slightly bewildered by the sudden focus. Gale then informs Red this creature consumed the Stella fragment and forced him to clarify something incredibly complex. He instantly attempts to seize Nero, but the quick feline evades. Using his head as a launch pad, Nero lands in Mary's arms. Nero's fine. Mary knew he'd be safe near Kai. Red observes the creature, sensing a strange familiarity. He wonders if it's just his imagination. Suddenly, Nero's mouth opens, shooting out the Stella fragment. Ellie feels relieved and moves to retrieve it. Red snatches the fragment, realizing they've finally located another piece. All those sacrifices for something so small. Kai starts regaining consciousness and recalls the attack he'd just endured. He then suddenly jolts awake. Red seizes the fragment right then. He's trying to figure out his location and the attacker's whereabouts. More importantly, he's colorless right now, isn't he? What excuse can he offer? If he gets expelled again, he has nowhere to go. Red tells him to lift his head and stop looking so miserable, like he'd just committed a crime. Red personally doesn't care about his appearance. What matters more is that everyone performed brilliantly on their first expedition. He hadn't expected them to achieve so much. He plans to work them hard from now on, so they should prepare themselves. He welcomes them all to Red's team. Kai is shocked, then smiles and bows his head, confirming he'll be under Red's care. Red is glad they've covered everything necessary, so they can now dismiss themselves. He's going to meet Lord Luminous. With that, he leaves. Ellie speaks first. Ellie figures he has much to tell, but she won't press him. She wonders if he recalls anything from after he passed out. Kai recalls Red's instruction to stay silent for now. He admits he doesn't recall much from that time. Ellie gets it. She'll drop the subject for now. He's clearly concealing something, but that's not important. The main thing is finding a way to restore his color. Mary assures her not to fret over that. She has a solution ready for these exact circumstances. She digs through her bag and soon locates it. It's black ink. She picked it up from a waste area. Ellie questions what it is. That's not real ink. It's actual waste. Why would he acquire something so risky? Kai uncorks the vial and tells her she's amazing, since he truly required it. After that, he simply tosses it, no problem, and his color completely returns. Mary realizes, though, this isn't sufficient. She mentions having more at her workshop, suggesting they deal with it there. Gale, though, stays unusually quiet, then asks if he's finished with the useless talk. He's leaving now, and his arm returned to normal. Only high-level healing colors possess body generation and advanced ability. He wondered how that was possible for Kai. More critically, he demanded an answer to his question. Why had he stepped forward earlier when the attack hit him? Kai placed a hand on his neck. He explained feeling danger and believing his power could block it. He admitted failing and nearly causing a disaster, but said that wasn't the issue. Gale got annoyed and grabbed his shirt collar, warning him not to mess around. Nobody requested his assistance. He still couldn't tolerate him. Mary instantly called him out, asking why he was suddenly scolding Kai. Gale simply stood there, quiet. Gale then tossed Kai aside, then left. Mary disliked his departure without an apology, but Ellie explained that's just how he acts. Anyway, she's leaving now too and will delay their match. Once she departed, Kai mentioned they should return, but he had something to show her. He'd defeated a robot during the expedition. He grabbed it, thinking she'd appreciate it. He searched his pack and soon located the robot's core. Red moved through the corridors and finally reached a throne room. Luminous welcomed him in, saying she'd waited patiently. Red responded, saying her patience paid off. He could finally share good news. Some time passed. Just as she'd foreseen, they managed to open the Black Witch's veil. At her workshop, Mary quickly disassembled the core. She noted seeing it in books, but confirmed it was ancient civilization tech. This device ran on ink as fuel. They were familiar with that, but its efficiency was incredible. Even faded ink kept a ruined golem operational for ages. Their tech was truly astonishing. Kai observed it looked like any other core, asking if it was truly unique. Mary confirmed it was. Even renowned pioneer cores rarely discovered such items in ruins, perhaps once a year at most. She wished she'd lived in that era, a world rich with lost ancient history and tech. Kai figured it was valuable. He thought if it was an ancient relic, they could sell it for a lot. Mary started complaining, saying this was why tech-ignorant people were annoying. He believed a technician like her would discard such an opportunity for money. She would, of course, disassemble and study it. He told her to look forward to it, asking if ideas were flooding her mind. She promised to create perfect equipment just for him. Kai was pleased, though. Her happiness showed bringing this back was the correct decision. He picked up Nero. He mentioned he'd return later, but she stopped him. She'd just recalled someone was looking for him. This happened when she ventured deep into the Shadow District, searching for ink to aid his recovery. Strangers she hadn't seen before began speaking to her. Initially, she assumed they were just local thugs. However, they knew their identities and sought them out directly, and mentioned wanting to meet the Black Wielder everyone discussed. Hearing this, she decided getting involved was a bad idea, so she fled. Kai found that quite dangerous. He'd warned her against going deep into the district zone, and she knew, but the situation felt urgent. She advised him not to engage if he encountered any more strange individuals. Kai still found this unsettling. The whole area was quite secure, so major issues shouldn't arise if he was their target. They'd just find him directly if they truly wanted something. While he walked the streets, Kai realized he was tired. He hadn't been home in a while, now that he considered it. He needed to rush back and rest. Even so, lately, more drifters are appearing. People who typically remain underground are now appearing above. Something must have occurred. Maybe a gang conflict started. Then, Nero catches his eye and directs him toward an alley. Kai, however, isn't aware of the reason, since he understands that venturing deeper into the Shadow District poses a risk. Still, Nero starts acting up, so Kai unwillingly heads into the alley. Nero's hunches are always spot on, so something's definitely inside. Perhaps he should test his training, similar to when he first covered his hands in black. He'll concentrate his energy within his eyes. His sight has changed on its own multiple times already. He could perceive what others couldn't. Copying that might help him locate objects in darkness. They call this method inverted sight. Once he uses it, he spots something. A woman with a very vibrant appearance. She leaves before he gets a chance to speak. He quickly pursues her, thinking she might be the one who requested a meeting. If she is, he must keep her in sight, also for Mary's protection. He has to apprehend her. But then, turning the corner, Kai instantly finds himself in an entirely new dimension. The entry point seals behind him, and Lord Luminous considers him quite intriguing. She hadn't intended to appear this early, but he should feel proud. Few people manage to locate her this way. Kai instantly reacts, visibly startled, and questions her identity. She states it's good to finally encounter a child of black. Her name is Celestia. Kai feels astonished. Her whole form radiates with all colors. He only knows one other individual who glows similarly. Kai wonders if this is the current Luminous. He thinks the city's top leader arrived for him. He questions the reason, also asking how long he's been observed. Suddenly, though, that voice overwhelms his mind, desiring the light and orders him to consume it, leaving no trace, no debate is allowed as it fully invades his thoughts. Celestia shows no surprise or shock that the black suddenly consumed him. She did nothing, which is odd. Red had informed her, but witnessing it firsthand proves more captivating. Darkness deeply consumes him, but he remains alive, and he's not turning into a black hand either. Maybe an unknown link exists between him and the Black Witch, Nyx. Some leaders sought his elimination, but she opposes it. Should he resist permanent consumption, his ability holds significant potential and worth. Protecting their city means they can't be selective with methods. Using Black Ink's power is necessary. Major success requires taking chances, so a chat was needed. Her staff appeared, then she drove it into the earth. This totally removed the black from Kai's head. Kai grabbed half his face, realizing the voice had never been clearer. Celestia then got curious about its nature. She wondered if that was the Black Witch's voice. Kai said he had no idea, just some whispers. Celestia told him to relax. She'd heard Red had sent word and wanted to meet him. Before that, she wished to express the city's gratitude. Kai didn't recall helping the populace, but then Celestia produced the Stella fragment. Few people grasp its true significance for the populace. Its return, that valuable light, was ample cause for gratitude. Kai thought his teammate was responsible too, and Celestia agreed. She knew he meant the whole team had done it. She knew that. The key thing is, he opened the Black Witch's veil. She wondered if he truly grasped its incredible nature. Not even the Luminous, herself included, could open it. Just the Black Witch, or maybe the Black Hands, can open it. Stellar fragments lie scattered across the Black Land, but the majority remain sealed within the Black Witch's veil. They've consistently fought the Black Hands to secure these. So far, they've only acquired a few fortunate pieces found exposed externally. Kai believes he understands, but she wondered why she was explaining this. He didn't even know the fragment's purpose. She questioned why Red, and even she, focused so much on them. Celestia had forgotten. That part needed explaining first. Instead of explaining, Showing him would be clearer. He shouldn't discuss this with anyone. Just a few city residents are aware of this. Abruptly, the whole area transformed into a city-like environment. Celestia told him not to panic, saying she'd just brought them to her home. He's the first person she's ever shown this to, so that might be a good omen. He needed to observe closely. A stunning glow would emerge from the shadows. She then deployed the stellar fragment, releasing a vibrant vortex of hues, resembling an orbital attack, and Kai observed eyes wide as the black land started receding. Of course, word quickly spread. A new era began for the city. Luminous had repelled the black land, taking back their land. Folks eagerly consumed the reports, finally grasping the Pillar of Light's appearance from the prior day. This truly changed everything, meaning they'd be much safer from the monsters. Anyway, the real point was that many fresh chances would now emerge. This new territory meant they could acquire more scarce materials and ink. Kai read the newspaper and overheard two buddies chatting. One mentioned hearing about families beginning a new pioneer expedition. He figured he needed to invest quickly for a large stake. Kai finds the city's chaos after one day a bit surprising, but considering yesterday's events, it's totally expected. Once she finished lighting up the place, Celestia returned to the ground and asked if he'd seen. Stella's fragments are way more powerful than he realizes. What he brought back was truly amazing, so he needs to be careful, because the Black Hands also want those fragments. When they discover his power, they'll relentlessly pursue him for capture. He doesn't need to worry much, though. The city's blocked their influence for ages. If things get serious, they'll protect him. It's a pity. She'd love to offer him more, but the city's burning through people and resources just to stay alive, and she's using everything to stop the Black Land's advance, so she can't be gone long. He's special. He needs to remember that from now on. Many people will either fear or try to exploit him. He'll try to prevent bad situations, but he should keep working as a pioneer, however he prefers, just like he's done. Now she's heading back, though. She enjoyed their conversation, and he shouldn't worry, because Red's team will get proper rewards. He figures it's time to do something, since he already had the day free. But what exactly should he get into? Then he recalled Mary looked worried. She'd nearly depleted her ink supply, so with some free time finally on his hands, he might as well go mining once more. He heads for the gathering hall. He'd once thought he'd never step foot inside. The gathering hall gathers all sorts of pioneers. As a colorless, he couldn't approach it, but now he walks in with pride, a true pioneer. The moment he steps in, everyone turns, recognizing him as the first black wielder. Some whisper he's creepier nearby. Others find him fascinating yet quite ugly. Of course, the whole hall buzzes with rumors, prejudice, and all kinds of trash talk. He drew everyone's focus. Even higher-ranked colorists up above enjoyed watching him. They'd never seen anything similar. A purple-haired person told him to quit acting childish and sit, but the red colorist questioned if she truly lacked curiosity about what Red chose. Thinking about it, Arantia was present. What was he like? Arantia noted his presence was certainly memorable and influential, but he also carried an unknown risk, someone they'd need to monitor closely moving forward. The red colorist grew even more curious after hearing this, since he possessed the soul black ink. The receptionist welcomed him, asking if this was his first time in the hall, and Kai confirmed he hoped to find work. The receptionist mentioned he needed to complete a form since he lacked an official badge. New pioneers could undertake low-risk missions like ink mining or small creature extermination. Several low-level colorists watched him as he did this. The colorists whispered that he was disgusting, not truly human. A colorist considered him an ominous, gross creature. He couldn't understand why others were praising him, making such a big deal. They all wanted their boss's approval, and he concurred. That black-inked bastard truly bothered his vision. He disliked him instantly during the expedition. That half-breed only got lucky because a colorist spotted him. He just didn't understand. Why were they treating that thing as normal? He was a complete rookie, lacking any experience. B-rank veterans like himself should have been joining. Since he was departing now, and their duty involved protecting the city from pollution, they needed to properly purify him. Kai headed outside the city, and utilizing his new ability, he discovered many colored ores, more than ever before. He knew mining yields had recently decreased. These ores are really useful, providing fuel or becoming weapons like ink. They'll fetch a high price, and Mary will definitely be thrilled. His eyes make resource collection incredibly easy. He sees everything, no matter how dark or hidden. But it consumes a lot of color, so he can't use it for long, but it's better than always relying on Nero. He finished quickly, sooner than expected. Going back with this much now would only attract attention, so he should just pass some time first. This could be a good chance to practice the ability he's been delaying. His primary skill is ink drain. He must directly touch something to use it, and sometimes it acts uncontrollably. He needs to master its control for the future. He breaks a color stone in half and instantly drains all its color. That was a costly stone. This is quite absurd. He feels he understands it better now. He recalled that vibrant, showy colors made his ink lose control. The strange whispering worsened it. He's glad to know the reason now. He must stay alert, preventing this power from taking over. Do absorbed colors just turn black? Each color has unique properties. He wonders if he can use them uniquely. Black combines all colors, he realizes. Perhaps, like luminous, he can utilize every shade. He attempts to concentrate, remembering the fiery red power he once felt. Intense heat consumed him, as if his body burned. He forms a tiny red gem, but it breaks instantly. Just as he figured, it won't be simple. He continued his practice until the sun went down, and once darkness fell, he headed back carrying his stone bag, wondering if he'd pushed himself too hard. But as he neared the city limits, a group of low-level colorists ambushed him. Their leader mentioned he kept running into the city's famous people in this area and said it was good to finally meet the group's smallest member. Another one felt he should have moved quicker, since they'd assumed he'd gone elsewhere. They also thought he had a huge attitude for a rude newcomer. Kai just stared at them, wondering who they were, but one of them held up a hand, demanding to know who he believed he was. They asked what he'd do with that information and if he couldn't tell by looking. They told him to put down everything he carried immediately. Another one told them to hold on. They pointed out the gleam inside his bags, asking if those were color ores. They noted there were many. The blue colorist informed his boss that the punk had brought some decent items, and the boss thought that was quite handy. That's some good loot he's got. A rookie's pretty lucky to find this, but keeping it all for himself? They'll learn his mining location with some pressure. He warns his crew not to resist and to give him a proper lesson. Weapons come out, Kai just places the bags on the ground before them. The blue-haired colorist assumes he's just being compliant and smarter than he appears. Kai then punches him in the face, knocking him unconscious. He lets out a sigh. Even as pioneers, these types always act this way. They shouldn't waste time. They should just come at him. He's got someone waiting. The other red-haired colorist charges with his blade, but Kai ducks under it, then throws a punch, sending him flying into the colorist's face. The impact shattered the wall. Another yellow guy charged in, fists ready, but before he could hit Kai's face, Kai grabbed his attacker's fist, then twisted it and tripped him, sending him helplessly to the ground. Then Kai punched his face, knocking him out cold. Kai dusted himself off and caught his breath. People who get greedy for others' stuff deserve to pay. Only one more guy remained. But as Kai looked at the red leader, he spotted a bullet heading for his head. Kai had only seconds to dodge before it tore a huge hole where his head had been. Kai figures only one thing creates a hole like that. It's a long-range spoit. The red-haired leader can't believe Kai dodged it. That hit should have killed him instantly. Kai's annoyed him since they met. The leader once wanted an S-rank core spot. Not just anyone gets in there. But this black-colored freak, Kai, walked right in, a colorist practically begging him. It makes no sense to him. He wonders what's special about that disgusting ink color. He thinks all colorists are obsessed with Kai. His mind's changed. Initially, he just planned to break some bones. But with his crew like this, Kai's getting killed now. No one cares what happens outside the city anyway. He starts firing a barrage of bullets, which Kai keeps dodging. Then he reaches the red leader's spot, trying to punch him. The leader, however, evades the strike, and they start trading hits. The leader's irritation grows, telling him to quit sticking around like a nuisance before launching a very close-quarters, broad-area attack, unlike the bullets. The leader explains his color is crystallization, letting him create ruby and hematite. Even though it's a common ability, his custom spoit allows him to mass-produce powerful rounds. As long as he avoids bleaching from excessive color use, his bullets are endless. He claims he's on a completely different level compared to someone like Kai. Kai uses cover to shield himself from the bullets, cursing the leader's annoying but valid point. His close combat suggests he's likely at least a B-rank pioneer. He's got a terrible personality but solid skills. He considers absorbing the bullets, but even with his black covering, it couldn't block everything. A mistake could mean a fatal blow, just like before. The yellow colorist Kai had earlier incapacitated suddenly charges, attempting a grab. Kai dodges, but the yellow-haired colorist still gets a grip on his leg and tells his boss to fire immediately, saying he'll hold Kai. The boss praises his good work, then instantly shoots Kai, with a bullet piercing his head. However, Kai doesn't fall. He seems completely fine as he can absorb that. If he'd failed, he would have been in serious trouble. The leader can't understand it, since he clearly shot Kai's head. Kai just tells him it's finished, but the leader refuses, trying to shoot him repeatedly. Yet each time Kai simply absorbs the blast, Kai tells the leader to keep firing. Kai wonders where the leader's amazing power went, the one that made him boastful. If the leader's bullets are gone, then it's Kai's turn. The leader couldn't believe it. He thought Kai couldn't be fine after that penetrating blow. It made no sense. He figured Kai was just bluffing, trying to look tough. The leader considered it foolish to fall for such a cheap trick. Even if Kai blocked the attack, his insides had to be ruined. Nothing had changed, the leader believed. As long as he held his weapon, he'd win this fight. Kai, however, felt the leader's bullets posed no threat, but this ability consumed an insane amount of color, far more than it absorbed. It worked, but using it recklessly carried immense risk. Kai would quickly run out of energy. He had to handle that annoying spoit. Getting closer would require something extra. Perhaps Kai should try it himself. He wondered if he could borrow that gloated-about ability for a moment. Kai summoned a power circle in his hand, which instantly became a spear. This shocked the leader. Kai was simply glad it functioned. Until now, he'd only used his fists. This lets him hide a constant vulnerability, a power that solidifies a person's unique color. As he absorbed his, he understood its feel. Regardless, he needed to thank the other guy for a useful demonstration. A spear flies from his hand. The leader barely avoids it, then tries another shot. But Kai simply endures the hits, saying it's pointless because they're already in a fight. He declared himself the leader's new sparring partner. He charges forward, spear in hand, and unleashes the same close-quarters AoE move the leader used, which shocks the leader, seeing his own techniques mirrored so accurately. Kai then opts for an altered shape instead. Kai then forms a blade from his black ink. This blade slices right through the leader's pistol, making it useless on the floor. The leader couldn't believe it. That spoit broke from just one blade swing. He wondered how, since he wasn't even using a spoit. He questioned if his black ink had unknown powers. This wasn't normal. Kai was an insane freak. Kai then eased his power, realizing he was drained. His ability was super costly but effective, even with minimal use. But that much destructive power made it worth it. He asked the leader what was next. The leader had no weapons, so he could fight barehanded if he wanted, though it wouldn't help. The leader got annoyed, telling Kai not to be cocky. He asked if Kai thought he earned a B rank for nothing, or if he only thought he could shoot. The leader stated his color produced ruby and hematite. He didn't require a spoit, even if he pushed himself hard. He'd just kill Kai with his hands. The leader then launched his colored shards at Kai, but Kai started blocking them, then formed an ink shield, using it to break through the attack, until he reached the leader, then punched the leader's side, making him stumble in pain before he grabbed his color. Kai forced him down hard, which made the leader cough up blood. Kai figured the fit was over, since he was busy and this just wasted his energy. The leader didn't understand. A new pioneer shouldn't have this power. He felt an anomaly. It defied logic. Kai simply told him to be quiet, but the leader then labeled him a beast. He said Kai was creepy, being born with that power. It wasn't normal, anyone could see it. Kai probably felt it too. How could he act like nothing was wrong while carrying that ink? He was never human from the start. He's just a monster in human skin. A human he never was. This, of course, infuriates Kai, until his gaze completely empties. The leader sees only a vast emptiness there, causing him to shrink back in terror. Kai, however, just laughs, questioning the man's words. Kai recalled his initial arrogance upon attacking. Did he now seek a verbal confrontation? Regardless, Kai understood his feelings. The leader's words showed a keen interest in Kai's power, so Kai decided to display it completely. Since the leader had pursued Kai's possessions, Kai figured he deserved compensation, correct? Then, Kai starts draining his color, consuming it entirely. After removing all their color, Kai settles on them, but he's unsure what to do. Initially, he considered just leaving them behind. However, abandoning them now would create a massive issue later. Currently, people are just curious about him since they've never seen this color before. Still, many fear, or even despise it. Should he take someone's color, discard them, and they die, everyone would surely view him as a color-stealing monster. He can't allow that outcome, so leaving them isn't an option. He'd put in too much effort to reach this point. Soon, he locates their individual ink supply and starts applying it onto them and inside them, causing them to recover some color. Near Shining City's East Gate, a guard spots the hooligans in a bleached condition. He's puzzled by their state, and if they'd used up all their color in the Black Land. He tells someone to contact the hall. Meanwhile, Kai enters the city, relieved they didn't spot him. Their color returned, so giving them the personal ink was probably correct. This should resolve things. If it becomes a big problem, Red will likely assist him. He returns to Mary's workshop, where she's happy to see him since he'd been gone for days. Kai apologizes, explaining he accepted a hall request. She notices his smile and asks if something good occurred. Kai confirms it did. She'll be surprised when she sees it. He opens his bag, revealing many colored ores. These were his leftovers after completing the task. He thought of her, so he brought the stones. Mary instantly leaps up, hugging him, saying he's the best, and thanks him profusely since she'll use them well. Suddenly, Kai spots a lingering light shining through her, just like before. He only saw it briefly, but he also saw a light around Gale. Mary's presence feels warm to him. This must be the color shining inside her. It makes sense. Mary always brightens people's days. Despite growing up seeing the city's dark side alongside him, she smiles even when there's no cause. When someone's trapped in a dark alley, she always offers solace. That color truly fits her. Mary mentioned she couldn't keep talking forever. She told him to come inside. She'd planned a surprise for him, but decided to reveal it immediately. She also warned him not to freak out since she'd been crafting a custom spoit just for him. Kai was quite surprised, and Mary looked very proud. She'd also made significant progress out of sight, and with this, she can upgrade the specs however she likes. Then someone entered the shop, saying she'd heard he was back from the Blackland. She'd guessed he'd be there. It was Ellie and Gale, with Kai asking what brought them there. Were they going to challenge him to a fight again? Ellie told him that wasn't the case. Gale had been training intensely to defeat him, but the Corps had actually called them. Lord Luminous himself recognized their efforts, so he wanted them at headquarters for rewards. Mary heard this and pushed Kai out, saying he needed to leave. He could check out her spoit later. He just needed to go and return safely. She'd have it done by his return. So Kai headed toward the Dawn Pioneer Corps headquarters, and Lavian led them in. Kai was naturally stunned. He never expected to enter here. The inside was incredible. Walls displayed past Corps accomplishments. He'd explore later. Now, he needed to focus. They then went into the leader's office. Camellia gave them a warm welcome and introduced herself. Kai was surprised by her presence. Dawn's leader was famous for being one of the city's rare multicolor holders. He hadn't expected to encounter someone he'd only seen in news articles. Camellia assured them not to worry, saying they likely knew their visit had a positive purpose. She mentioned Red's praise for rookies had shocked her, especially since their mere appearance had unnerved city leaders, particularly Kai, the first black ink wielder in ages. She then apologized for the interruption. She'd extended the invitation herself. While she drank her coffee, she instantly frowned, telling Lavian she'd asked for sweetener in it earlier. Lavian simply sighed and advised her to maintain some decorum. Camellia cleared her throat, stating introductions were over and they should focus on business. She'd give them 3 rewards for their recent mission. First, each person would receive 1. These were personal Pioneer safes, provided by higher-ups. Their pay and mission earnings were stored inside, so they could check them anytime. Their core system guaranteed the funds, letting them withdraw cash from any city bank. Surprise hits Gale and Kai. Kai mentions he could likely afford a house using this. Camellia then gives them C-rank Pioneer IDs. These were issued early for rookies. They'd shown skill and results, so probation was skipped. This grants them hall access and city benefits too. Finally, the Color Workshop custom crafts spoits they pick. Gale's shocked. Ellie points out most nobles can't even book them. Camellia laughs. Dawncore's a VIP client and their spoits are broken. The Color Workshop manages all colorist gear. It's crucial. They'll get spoits from the city's top workshop. They know its location, so in the Lumina district it'll be visible immediately. It's late, but she needs to officially welcome them to the Corps. They'll get full support moving forward. Strong fighters are always needed against the Black Land. Also, as they might have guessed, the fragment they returned yesterday is vital for city survival, so she expects great things from these new rookies. They walked back to Mary's workshop entrance. Kai chats with Nero. He mentions it feels like a really good day. He hadn't expected such a quick C-rank promotion. Becoming a pioneer definitely felt like the correct path. He figures Mary will be thrilled once she learns about today's events, but as he gets closer, he notices the door stands ajar, and peering within, he finds the whole area completely wrecked, which makes his heart drop and his gaze turns sharp. Over at Shining City's eastern forward base, the colorists are battling fiercely. Many creatures are breaching from the Blackland, so all squads move in, targeting the larger ones initially. But they're wondering how long this strange event will continue. It's already lasted quite some time. Some simply state they must hold their ground as long as the attacks persist. Viper observes from above. She enjoys their struggle. Honestly, she'd be disappointed if they couldn't handle this much, but it's still too weak. The Black Witch's supposed waves weren't pathetic at all. Repeatedly sending these small fry just wastes time. To destroy that disgusting city, they require something more decisive. So, she'll need to re-enter one more time. The Sword Demon, casually leaning nearby, asked what she was talking about. He wondered if she planned to die by entering the city. Viper told him he had no idea. He remembered nothing. He was incredibly dumb. Still, she figured it wouldn't hurt to inform him. Beneath Shining City, paths connect directly to the Blackland. They're narrow but present. Down there, they discovered something quite useful. The Undercity. Kai instantly searched for Mary, attempting to locate her, and even checked the back room, but her workshop was empty too. It's quite obvious she'd been taken. Who might be responsible for this? He's unsure how he'd react if a similar event occurred. He had to act before hopelessness took hold. Nero meowed at him, stepping from his shadow, then jumped onto the workshop table. Kai then spotted the custom item Mary had made for him. Nero's attention to it meant it was significant. Kai then used inverted sight, and precisely as he'd expected, it showed the same shining color he'd seen from her, indicating another location. He had to follow this trail above all else. He worried about Mary's current safety. He needed to calm down. These moments required setting emotions aside. The kidnappers were definitely those people, the mysterious group pursuing him. They're using her as a hostage to draw him out. They're the city's lowest. They started the confrontation with him. He mutters to himself, urging Mary to endure a bit longer. Yet his words of encouragement contrast with eyes full of pure hatred. He snatches the gauntlet and it goes on, a perfect fit. This makes his ink use far more effective. He's ready for extended battles from this point. Nero settles on his shoulder, and they move out. He moves through the dim alleys, past the street dwellers and would-be criminals, until he locates the trail's destination, an entry into the underground. Another entrance exists nearby. This explains the sudden rise in vagrants. Then, another person arrives, mentioning their wait was worthwhile. It's the same guy from earlier. He hopes his face isn't forgotten after the ink pile incident. They aren't friends, but their conflict remains unresolved. Kai instantly demands Mary's location, but the green-haired man refuses. He scoffs at Kai's expectation of an easy answer. He can't recall the exact tactic used previously, but he remembers leaving Kai a mess. He asks if Kai understands his subsequent ordeal. He worked tirelessly at the organization's lowest ranks to regain his former status. He endured by cleaning, driven by future revenge. Lord Blank's orders were simply to capture him. His condition wasn't specified, making this situation ideal. Kai then forms a razor-sharp, serrated blade. Kai wasn't planning to linger. These utterly corrupt individuals didn't merit any mercy. He started slicing through them as they came closer, taking them out everywhere. The green-haired guy grabbed Juan's spoit to attempt an attack, but Kai easily countered the move, then pinned the green-haired guy to the floor. The situation was way different compared to last time. Honestly, he doesn't enjoy harming people, but those who kidnap innocents are another matter entirely. There was no reason to hold back. Some of them might end up crippled for life or never walk again, but they brought it all on themselves. They should feel lucky he let them survive. They even called themselves pioneers. Doing such awful things and using that title was truly disgusting. People like them didn't deserve the light's blessing. He then drains the color from him, pulling the man along, needing a guide for the journey below. After that, he leaps downward, straight into a location he believed he'd never revisit, the Undercity. While heading toward the Undercity, Kai shoves the man, now drained of color, telling him to hurry and avoid any foolish actions. The man questioned if Kai believed he could challenge Zed and escape unpunished. He claimed Kai couldn't accomplish anything alone, stating he had just sealed his own fate. Kai seized his throat, observing that the man enjoyed speaking freely, but still failed to grasp his situation. The man needed to be silent and lead the way, or Kai would end him and leave him there. If Mary got even one scratch, the man would have the worst day ever. Their walk continued, and Kai saw no changes, not even minor ones. The Undercity felt like a lamp's shadow. Luminous light never touched this place. It naturally became a gang's nest. No laws existed here. The colorless survived using underground mines, their only escape when they had nowhere else. He first met Mary in this exact spot. The man couldn't believe this kid, but it didn't matter. He figured the kid could do whatever. His only job was to get him to the base. He's walking right into his own trap. This spot would definitely be his grave. Just as expected, while he kept leading, he suddenly stopped. Then a group of individuals shows up. One person mentions they waited ages, saying they probably grew roots. Everyone stares, shocked by his black ink, calling him a lump of ore. Their boss steps up, happy he arrived, and the guy instantly drops to his knees, telling the boss he brought him as instructed. But the boss notices he's colorless once more. The boss reminds him a colorless person is useless. The man apologizes, saying it was uncontrollable, but the boss points out the chance is gone. His worth ends now. He decapitates him, not wanting to waste time on trash, and Kai seems completely unfazed. He's probably seen this before. Kai also observes the boss hasn't changed. He's just like always. Kai's presence now required an answer. Where was Mary? The man was astonished Kai ignored the situation. Kai needed to consider who held control. Had Kai cooperated initially, this would be finished. Kai's resistance complicated Mary's discovery. Though seemingly useless, these guys weren't harmless. Mary's current fate remained unknown. Kai's face darkened, and he announced his intent to flatten the entire location. Black ink appeared in his hand, and he formed a crushing fist. He leaped high into the air, then crashed roughly down, making the ground tremble. Another person approached a different boss, noting a problem. The black ink user they pursued was raging, and the boss needed to come himself. The other boss told his men to stop idling and buy time until he arrived. But it's obvious they're losing. He's just hitting everyone, knocking them out cold. This guy is some kind of monster. Suddenly, the other boss arrives, asking what they're doing. The first boss welcomes the branch leader, who asked about the noise, yet they couldn't even get one guy. Zed's reputation as Undercity rulers is totally ruined. They're all useless. Kai can tell this guy's super strong just by looking. The boss warns he's gone too far. He should know their branch leader was an A-rank pioneer. No matter his skill, he can't beat a veteran. He should have listened to their courtesy. The branch leader intervenes. The branch leader aims a punch at Kai, but Kai evades, and Kai then lands many blows, which seem to have no effect. Yet the branch leader shows admiration. He considers it quite good, but now he desires to gauge Kai's resilience to a strike. The branch leader delivers a crushing blow, which sends Kai hurtling into a structure, yet Kai appears completely fine. The branch leader attempts another strike, but Kai deftly evades, then unleashes an ink wave blast, which makes the branch leader feel like every bit of color is being stripped away from his body. Then he rushes forward, bursting with strength and forcing Kai back, since he couldn't stand that ability. That vile color and those strange skills fit together far too well. He has no clue what other secrets are hidden, but now he seems forced to go all out. Handling this power is tougher than expected. Then again, he hasn't used it in years. Kai stares at him with open disgust. This still isn't enough. The way he normally fights won't work now. He has to become far more precise, hit harder, and use weapons capable of surviving that armor. Without warning, he releases a massive tide of black ink, along with his bloodlust. The branch leader felt this was the most chilling, deadliest intent he'd encountered. He wondered if this was black ink's power. Kai activated his technique, the arsenal of malice. Kai started his attack, and the branch leader got furious. He questioned what power this was. Kai deployed every weapon from the area he made, pushing the branch leader back more and more. He started with a spear, then an axe, which he swung down hard. He tossed the axe aside, then summoned 2 knives. He repeatedly sliced the branch leader with them. The branch leader was stunned. That guy tore through his body's reinforced sections effortlessly. His weapons might be fragile, but each one was incredibly sharp. But he's a Zed executive, so he wouldn't lose to a punk. Blank's orders didn't matter to him now. He maximized his colorless powers, transforming his fist into sharp stone, then charged forward with his killer fist. The attack moved incredibly fast, and Kai couldn't dodge it in time. It ripped through several buildings before finally stopping. The vice leader stared down at Kai, utterly shocked, who was totally unharmed after blocking the hit. Actually, Kai didn't simply stop it, he started absorbing it completely. The branch leader then realized creating weapons wasn't his sole skill. How many abilities did this guy possess? He figured if he could use his color once more, things would be okay. But then, his sight abruptly became partially obscured because some of the ink stuck to his face and fully entered his eye. This let Kai leap in and land an uppercut, which sent the branch leader to the ground. He felt his strength completely drained, realizing such a hit shouldn't have dropped him. He understands this situation. That was poison, right? Kai posed a question. What if that were true? He shouldn't pity him during a battle. He's unable to resist the draining effect now. The vice leader lost all his vitality, while the hooligan leader just stared, stunned, trembling as the branch leader fell. He's truly a monster. Once Kai finishes his task, he then confronts the hooligan leader. What he plans is obvious. All at once, in a different location, Mary opens her eyes inside a mostly bare room. Someone's happy she's awake. He'd been curious about her regaining consciousness, but he finds her and the other guy quite interesting. He never expected the colorless to gain such notice, suddenly showing a hue like that. He heard it's a very rare occurrence, but he questioned what was up with this guy. It seemed he'd suddenly gained confidence or something. The person he knew before never showed such humanity initially. After hearing this and recognizing the voice, Mary immediately identifies the speaker. It's the same person from earlier, Blank. Blank feels pleased she still recalls him. He affirmed that. A considerable time had passed. Mary feels surprised. She thought he had died. Blank then laughs, because he was nearby when it all collapsed. He truly believed he would be crushed, but his luck held, and he survived. He never expected them to meet again this way. Life truly is unpredictable. It brings back many memories. He recalls every detail. Each one was very important to him. They were his initial test subjects. He barely survived that day, but he's advanced significantly since. Even the boss recognizes him now. He's currently a top executive for Zed. She shouldn't just stand there idly. She should enter to witness his research's progress. He opens the door, showing a huge laboratory where colorless subjects are treated like cattle and ink beasts are kept in cages. Mary's expression falls, and her heart sinks. She can't believe such a nightmarish place still exists. A worker approaches, informing him the new extract batch arrived. Blank considers this ideal timing. He wants to inspect their current findings. Mary questions his repeating past actions. Blank then inquired why he wouldn't. He stated something so incredible deserved use. He considered not using it the greatest sin. Then, he welcomed her to his fresh extraction facility. The Undercity was experiencing chaos. Residents fled the ongoing battles, assuming it was just gang members fighting once more. But Kai was actually clearing things out. He eventually reached a rather wide opening and asked the hooligan leader if Mary had been brought there. The leader confirmed it. The girl he sought was definitely inside, so the leader inquired if he might depart. Kai instantly slammed him against the wall, causing him to bleed profusely. Kai then calls Nero, asking him to point out Mary's location. Nero accepts and leaps down. Just then, several hooligans show up, attacking him simultaneously. But Kai can't waste time on these minor threats individually. Every moment lost increases Mary's peril. He's already considering a helpful method. He mimics the branch leader's precise move, aiming to clear the building instantly. Predictably, he bursts past the hooligans and right through the walls. No one could halt his progress. Mary declared Blank was crazy. She wondered what his problem was and why he continued acting this way. Blank can't understand her sudden distress. No need for tension. He just feels thankful for everyone. Their past role as test subjects allowed his research to finally succeed. She should watch this. An extraction is happening now. Witnessing it directly beats any explanation he might offer. Two of his men force a colorless into a basin, but it screams, resisting entry. It grips the door until its strength fails, then gets shoved inside. The door closes. The device holding him roars with malice. Then a mass of red, almost blood-like liquid emerges. Mary realizes nothing has changed. This is the identical horrific scene from earlier. Blank states this hue is truly stunning. He's able to produce such pure, bright shades. During his initial trials, he fell short. No pigment came out. He wasted every sample taken from her. He recalled his earlier statement about people developing color later. That's where he noticed the promise. What if he could extract the potential everyone carried? It worked perfectly. It isn't only humans. It comes from creatures as well. It's incredible how things he considered utterly useless eventually turned into this color. He thinks this is their actual soul, their true identity, and he can manipulate and pull it out whenever. He's giving a present to everyone. He's revealing a world that would have stayed hidden. His extraction skill and all his years of study have finally become flawless, and this is the outcome. It's a blend. Currently, he's figuring out exactly how to use it. He recently found that creatures naturally disliking color can be somewhat controlled, though not completely. Mary believes they've lost their sanity, each and every one. She wonders how they stay so calm about this. They simply forced a live individual into an extractor, just like that. Do they truly believe the city will allow them to escape consequences for this? That reaction didn't surprise him, but honestly, he never got why it was bad. He figured it was just too advanced for them to grasp. Mary instantly accused him, saying he was just a murderer. She wondered what soul or identity he meant. If he loves extracting color, he should just extract it from himself. She's sure his color is stained with this filthy, disgusting color, soaked in sick pleasures. Blank seems to be mad, but then tells her that it isn't, as he already checked. He had already been routinely extracting from himself. He wouldn't invent something without trying it on himself. This came from him pouring everything into his research. Once it was finished, he invested a piece of himself into it, making even his own color shine. He had stored it carefully. It might prove useful. Mary told him to be quiet. Nobody wanted to hear that. Blank apologized. He admitted getting carried away. He had one more thing to say. He heard Kai arrived in the Undercity. Bringing her here was the plan to lure him. Kai always followed her, even before. Kidnapping her would make him come. It was the perfect bait. His men should be capturing him now. Even with black power, fighting so many alone would be hard. He ordered his men to remove her. They would meet again once Kai arrived. Meanwhile, he needed to prepare for his guests, since a special banquet was coming soon. Suddenly, however, the whole facility started shaking, and from above, something crashes through, and the whole ceiling caves in. Mary instantly recognizes the intruder. It turns out to be Kai. Later on, the counselor, Camellia, and another individual got a report. Kai had gone to the Undercity and was now fighting the Zed. An agent's report from below said he was systematically attacking their outposts to save his captured friend. The counselor questioned Camellia about this insanity, reminding her she'd vouched for trust. Camellia clarified they reacted quickly, sending observers to monitor Kai. She wasn't idle. Plus, he's aware of the unusual events. Most combat forces are at the borders. Getting backup from other pioneer units is already tough. They're barely finding resources to protect the city and stay alive. The counselor inquired about Red's location. Camellia clarified that the Collector and Jester showed up at a different fortress, requiring Red to intercept them. The counselor suspected the Black Hands were behind this anomaly, but first they'd dispatch a peacekeeping unit to ensure his safety. An older colorist, however, advised against rushing. Deploying troops too quickly might be a mistake. It could needlessly antagonize many gangs, escalating the situation even more. There might be traitors they'll need to remove eventually, but their strength is considerable. Many are former pioneers. If this event ignites a full-scale conflict, the city will fall into disarray. Also, he still doesn't trust Black Ink Boy. He's only been observing and tolerating things because the council outvoted him, but Black Ink Boy causing such a huge mess means his initial judgment wasn't completely wrong. Just imagining the disaster his color could bring to this city is terrifying. Maybe they should use this chance to eliminate that dangerous person. He thinks they understand his exact meaning. Hudson, however, gets his concerns. He plans for the peacekeeping units to execute their established strategy. Kai alone can reveal hidden truths. He's vital. They have to protect him at all costs. Luminous also sees huge potential in him, wanting to back the future he'll create. He'll take full responsibility, personally managing the situation. The old man sits quietly for a moment, then mentions he once respected him. He rose to counselor with a common color, but the old man never thought he'd be so illogically logical. Hudson apologizes, saying he'll try to meet those high expectations next time. Camellia tells him he's overthinking it. She eased his burden somewhat. Red's team members joined the peacekeeping forces. He knew their fighting skills were proven from the first expedition. That should lessen his worries. The counselor sighed, telling them to deploy. They needed to handle things cleanly, protect the city from harm, and ensure a neat cleanup. Blanc stared at Kai, quite astonished and confused, wondering how he bypassed all his guards to reach this spot. Things looked truly grim. Kai couldn't clearly see Mary, only her outline. He had to eliminate them quickly, before any regrouping. He deployed the arsenal of malice, flinging knives everywhere, trapping everyone present, and smashing large vials within the lab. He quickly moves inside, grabbing the two guards attempting to seize Mary immediately. He expressed regret for his delay, and inquired if her weight was extensive. Nero then leaps into her embrace, and Mary mentioned there was no cause for concern, adding she owed him thanks for his assistance. The other colorless immediately withdrew. They saw their opportunity to flee. Blanc considered it truly unfortunate. He'd planned numerous additional tests, but figured he could always locate fresh subjects. Blanc felt immense joy at their reunion. So much time had passed, he was incredibly excited upon learning a color had awakened in him, and that he'd survived with it. Blanc considered him truly unique. Seeing him directly just intensified his curiosity. Blanc eagerly anticipated discovering his full potential. Kai observed him, asking Mary for his identity, noting his familiar appearance. Mary identified him as Blanc, the one who previously exploited them. Kai then realized that Blanc had endured the entire collapse. Blanc found Kai's comment rude, given his presence. However, he decided to end the small talk. Since both had objectives, they needed to begin their experiment, researcher to subject. Blanc tossed 2 color vials onto the ground, which made Kai question their purpose, and Mary warned him to be careful, explaining they attracted monsters. Blanc affirmed this, stating he preferred not to get involved directly, so these creatures might not defeat him, but they could exhaust his energy. The gate opens for him, and they're released. But Kai instantly moves forward, and begins tearing through the creatures. Even with so many present, Blanc retrieves a dropped ink dagger, and observes that wasting such valuable test subjects isn't wise. He thinks color power typically diminishes with use, but if he manages it, the outcome will differ. He performs extraction, acquiring the black ink. The ink is now his. He's eager to discover how this darkness compares to other colors, and this quantity should prove sufficient. Plus, he's also curious about Kai's abilities. Mary observes Kai's struggle and realizes things look grim. Usually, he'd instantly eliminate these foes, but he's struggling to keep pace. He depleted so much color reaching this spot. He'll exhaust himself to death at this pace. Absorbing pigments from other monsters would revive him instantly. She needs to discover a method to assist him. Then, she spots the combined ink covering the floor. It's from those vials shattering. She also notices something else, a type of generator. She adjusts it for a moment, then plugs it back in and restores the power supply. She warns Kai against touching the floor. She places the prongs on the floor. It's quite a shock. The Beast Army shows she's pretty useful in combat. Blanc feels a bit down, since his creations got destroyed. Right after this, Kai quickly places his hand on the floor and starts taking in the beast's power, refilling his energy supply. Blanc gets surprised. He realizes this is Black's power. Up close, it seems crazier than he thought. Creatures are now just sustenance for him. This endless appetite, consuming all without thought, represents the ideal he's always sought. He desires Kai's arm, or perhaps a finger, even a small piece. He needs Kai to share it. He aims to fully analyze this pure color. Kai rushes forward and questions if his talking was finished. Blank simply deflects the blow using his robotic arm, remarking, "It's unfortunate." He understands research involves obstacles, though. Engaging in direct combat himself isn't an option. His extraction ability isn't suited for that. So he arrived ready. He retrieves 2 additional vials and inserts them into his gauntlet, letting him utilize those specific colors. He realizes they share many similarities. His desire for others' colors and claiming them mirrors his own. He ought to acknowledge it now. He deploys his green hue, unleashing an attack Kai blocks, and their battle goes on until Blanc's assaults rock the whole place. He urges Kai to hear him out, despite their current fight, suggesting they might collaborate. He asks if Kai wants to join him, certain that with his help, Kai would value his studies. He questions if Kai desires to see color's true beauty, its core essence. Their combined absorption and extraction powers could unlock ultimate truth, the strength he's always imagined. He notes Kai can access people's colors in their purest state, unlike him. He charges forward, demanding Kai surrender his power, and likely hits Kai, as Kai firmly plants his feet. He naturally takes the hit. He uses that impact as leverage, then winds up a punch and shoves Blank into the wall, which makes him cough blood. Blank admits he didn't expect that. He thinks Kai is incredible. He never imagined anyone could absorb color mid-fight so easily. Even though their abilities are similar, the difference is huge. He realizes he'll have to use this. Blank then pulls out a black vial he had from his dagger and injects it into his arm. Kai wonders what Blank's trying to do, thinking he might be tired of living. Blank disagrees, saying he's just gathering data for his research. Anyway, this item was created for him from the start. The possibility of death doesn't deter him. It only adds to the excitement. His body absorbs the black ink, and he appears capable of managing this power. Yet, a mere color fragment holds immense power. His fist and right eye completely change to black ink. He finds this magnificent. He needs to be careful. He's becoming more battle-hungry. So, their fists start colliding, and Blanc remarked it was unbelievable. Once he attempted it, everything instantly clarified. He understood his color's nature. He urged reconsideration, asking if he truly refused to collaborate. Such a meeting, he claimed, was destiny. Kai told him to quit the nonsense, stating they weren't alike. Blank laughs, saying they share much. Or maybe Mary is why he's refusing. He never had his own identity, just absorbed others' colors everywhere he went. Blanc sees through him. That emptiness is his real identity. He clarifies he's not criticizing at all. He actually thinks he's honest. All this time, seeing so many colors, he's only envied them, craved them, wanting them for himself, right? His current look and color came from that, didn't they? Ultimately, he's also just acting for his own goals. At least that's Blank's view. He truly doesn't get why Kai tries so hard to pretend to be human. But he'll play along since Kai is one of the few who can accept his true self. Something in Kai does break the facade he's maintained until now, but Mary just throws a wrench at his head and tells him to stop the nonsense. She asks who he thinks he is. He came here talking like he knows everything about Kai. At best, he barely saw him as a child. Does he think he's like him? Has he gone crazy? How dare he compare trash like him to someone who sees human life as disposable tools? Kai isn't copying anyone. He tries so hard because he wants to change himself. She can't even imagine what he endured. He might be a bit different, sure, but he's just like any other ordinary human. Who does he think he is? He shouldn't dare look down on him, as he's filth and a psychopath. Mary gets a glance from Kai, and a faint grin appears on his face. He then releases a surge of energy. Blank is shocked this strength extends more. Kai expresses gratitude to Mary. Then he attacks with an incredible blow which nearly demolishes Blank's hand, since his form can't contain that force now. Kai then gets to advance for a colossal last hit that shatters the ground and finishes the battle. Mary checks on Kai's injury status. He tells her he's okay. Mary figures Blank won't recover. Kai confirms Blank is barely conscious, and Kai plans to finish this guy right here. He can't leave any threats unresolved. Sparing him means he'll just repeat his actions. Blank expels his color, then smiles. Blank thinks Kai's hurried power wasn't enough to defeat him. It's a real pity. He wonders what he might have accomplished with more of his color, but he hasn't surrendered yet. He'll do anything to get his color. Then, the whole facility begins exploding. Blanc reveals he placed explosive coloring charges everywhere. They've lost contact with the organization, and Blank's already caused enough chaos. So the higher-ups activated a self-destruct to erase all evidence, it seems. If this is the end, he might as well try one last thing. But then, unexpectedly, the ground gives way, sending Mary and Kai down into an ink pit. He wonders why this is underground. He thinks this might be leaked waste from the extraction room. If so, Mary faces danger. Indeed, she's barely clinging on and keeps sinking, since the colorless are most vulnerable to the ink. He realizes he must act fast. He needs to absorb all this ink immediately, but that would take ages to soak it all up. Mary won't survive that long unless he touches her directly, or maybe it's already too late. He understands falling into black ink means no one can save them. Why'd he even get this color? Wasn't it for that amazing light? If he lets go of that light now, a voice inside him suddenly asks if he's fine with that choice, and he's definitely not. He keeps pushing forward. That happened once already, and that was plenty. He's not giving up no matter what happens. He charges in, grabbing Mary's hand, then starts absorbing all the ink surrounding her. He begged her to live, since she'd pledged to witness his becoming a colorist. She'd told him everyone possessed their own inner light and color, and that he was no different, he just didn't know it. Lumial had used those exact words. That's why he remembered them. After their escape from the Undercity, sure, they faced discrimination and persecution, but most people they met were also illuminating others with their own unique light and color. Leaving with her, he understood he'd never have grasped any of this if he'd been alone. He would have just stayed lost in his emptiness, never experiencing happiness or joy. But now he understood a little. If Lumial showed him the way, then she gave him a reason to keep moving, to smile. So she has to wake up, because they made a promise back then. Most of the ink has vanished, but then he notices Mary isn't drawing breath. How can that be? He already took in all the black. Then a glow starts spreading from her with that very same radiance he noticed earlier. Is this the hidden power everyone mentioned? If he can pull out that light, then maybe there's still a chance. He takes hold of her hand and figures that if he keeps doing what he's done so far, he might be able to save her. Suddenly, a wave of her light wraps around his whole body. It feels different, nothing like the way he usually absorbs things. The light and color feel oddly familiar. This must be the happiness, comfort, and warmth deep inside her. This is the light Mary has always held within, and since it's Mary, of course it would shine this way. It's bright and vivid. He uses his absorption powers and successfully revives Mary. She instantly wakes, then begins coughing. Mary wonders what occurred, certain she'd fallen into black ink. She questions her survival. Then she notices her new color, and she totally panics. Kai tells her to relax, saying it's fine, and asks about her body. He checks if anything feels off. He admits it's confusing, but they need to leave this place now. Though blasts block the top, they must find an exit from here. Then, Nero's meows reach them, and the ceiling explodes once more, revealing Nero. Nero guided Gale and Ellie to this spot. They felt relief seeing them despite the urgent situation. Both appeared mostly unharmed, though. Kai couldn't recall his earliest memories. His mind felt veiled in mist, and all things appeared far off and indistinct. The division between himself and the world felt indistinct. He simply floated, propelled by a massive flow, lacking any specific endpoint. Occasionally, when the mist cleared and his sight sharpened, he'd consistently awaken in an unknown spot, but he didn't mind it much. No matter where his travels led, he had a family member who remained by his side, Nero. With nothing else, Nero alone remained with him. Then, in his utterly dark existence, a figure emerged, radiating intense brilliance. That person identified himself as Lumial, and upon seeing him, Kai instantly grasped it. Lumial represented the stunning light he desperately sought. He etched an unmistakable, lasting impression on Kai's heart. Unfortunately, his period with Lumial proved short. Once they separated, he recommenced his travels through unfamiliar areas, still seeking the radiant light now fixed in his heart. Like a moth chasing a flame, he kept wondering whether he'd ever face that radiance again. Then, after all that drifting without direction, deep beneath the city in its darkest depths, he ran into Mary, who couldn't understand why he stayed silent. She figured he might not be able to speak or maybe hear. The Undercity had lots of children like that. Even so, rain was falling that day, and she warned him not to let that water touch his skin. A ceiling pipe had ruptured, leaving traces of ink in the dripping water. She said it wasn't good for him. While trying to figure out how he ended up there, she spotted Nero and wondered why he was roaming around with a creature like that. Then she decided it was harmless since it was a small one. As she guided him somewhere hidden from the guards showed up anyway, and they were quite upset since she left the zone without authorization. Did she require another punishment like before to understand? He had not seen the child with her. Was this a new subject for testing? This worked out well, as they needed more material lately. So they pulled them back to Blanc, who was quite irritated, letting valuable specimens roam freely. What kind of oversight was this? The guards apologized, and Blanc observed Mary, happy to see her, but she truly didn't know when to quit. Even if they were valuable specimens, his tolerance had a limit. If they continued this, only they would suffer, right? So why bother? Kai understood that on the surface, the location appeared to be a regular orphanage, but it was actually a detention camp for children. There were sham facilities that clearly took advantage of the city's poverty aid policies, concealed in the undercity's shadows. Children from the back alleys were abundant, and their use as cheap labor was seen as normal and expected underground. The true aim here wasn't work, but experiments. Guards were strict, and leaving meant a body bag. Mary didn't plan on dying in this kind of spot. Way before his arrival, she'd already tried escaping with other children. Even after many failures, she wouldn't quit. Her strong determination gave other kids hope, and she was the strongest support for everyone wanting out. In 3 days, patrol shifts would create an opening, and they could pass through. She expressed gratitude, since his help meant they'd all escape together. He figured that's when he began to align with her. She also informed the other kids, but told them to stay quiet. That night marked their final evening in this location. After escaping, she mentioned her plan to head to Shining City. There, she'd learn a trade and open her own workshop. Shining City offers work even for the colorless. They'd need to stay near the outer walls until citizenship, but that's still way better than their current spot. She then asked what he planned to do after they escaped. Kai replied with a single word: colorist. He'd met a colorist previously, so he wanted to try becoming one himself. That was his first time expressing his own desire, but he also understood it was ultimately impossible. He'd repeatedly heard about the powerlessness and fragility of the colorless. Every adult kept reinforcing that. He'd simply followed a beautiful light and ended up here, nothing more. Now that he's actually in this spot, he doesn't know what to do or where to head. Even with everyone excited about leaving tomorrow, he couldn't grasp their happiness. He was just different from everyone else. Mary simply smiled. She then inquired if he knew colorless individuals could show color later. Lumial, the previous Luminous, also had no color, yet his light surpassed all others. She was convinced every person held their unique inner light and color. He mirrored them. He wasn't unable to sense it. He simply hadn't realized it. She'd assist him, step by step. A colorless identity sounded awesome too. He should try it. He hadn't even started, so quitting now would bring real regret later. Just attempting it meant a lot, and failure didn't mean it was over, so he should just do what he wanted. He needed to keep his head up too. If he always looked like that, he wouldn't feel motivated. However, while they were full of hope that night, harsh reality denied them a better tomorrow. Children were easily captured and subjected to extractions. Their desperate struggle was just a useless flail against the inevitable. One guard, seeing Mary so determined in resisting, a pipe then hit her head. To keep her from moving, even though she was weak and bleeding, she still looked at Kai and told him to run. At that moment, Kai felt something surge inside him, and he knew exactly what it was: anger. Then he also got hit on the head. But the other guards wondered why they had to get rid of these kids anyway. They questioned if they could even do this without Blank's permission. Another guard didn't care. They were just following orders from higher-ups. He'd heard this lab's existence was almost exposed. While they argued about their terrible job, Kai slowly got up and showed his true power. This is what caused the collapse back then. Kai wasn't sure what he'd done. He awoke to find Mary and Nero above him. He questioned what occurred, but she had no answers. She'd just woken up herself. A massive blast likely happened. When she regained consciousness, the scene was already set. It seemed only they survived. Mary felt deep sorrow. They had all been good children, but Kai noticed others approaching, so they needed to leave immediately. Remaining meant they'd be imprisoned once more. Mary dried her eyes and stated they must reach the surface. Survival below was no longer possible, and they ought to make a vow. Above ground, happiness awaited them for sure. She felt certain the younger children who'd gone before them desired this outcome. Mary and Kai climbed from the hole, Gale sighs. They just showed him the Undercity's absolute bottom, a place he never thought he'd visit. So he asked them to explain what was happening. Mary was colorless before, but now she had color. With Kai around, nothing surprised him anymore. Ellie went to Mary, realizing she'd awakened like Kai, with such vivid color. Even among the 3 great houses, this level of saturation was rare. Nobles couldn't compare. It was truly beautiful. Kai knew they had no time for this. They were in a gang hideout, and the remnants could storm in at any moment. It was dangerous, so they needed to move. The others were confused. Gale asked what was up with him. Even his eyes looked different. Before they could ask more, Mary waved them off, saying they should save the detailed talk for later. Ellie agreed, since there was no need to rush anything, because every troublesome piece of trash was already dealt with. Mary can't believe they handled that many enemies by themselves, and Gale snorts once more. He had no choice but to push forward fast. Getting here cost him a huge amount of color, so they owed him thanks. Blasts sealed off the routes, gang members kept pouring in, and to make matters worse, their gear turned out to be cheap, mass-produced spoits again. Even then, they stay alert. Someone could still be waiting to jump them while Mary follows behind. A guard who had been faking sleep suddenly opens his eyes. There was no way he was letting them walk away after what they did to him. No matter what, returning like this meant losing a hand or two at best. He figured he should drag at least one of them down with him. He lunges forward with Mary as his target, and the others move at once with Kai prepared to finish him off. Mary, however, throws a soft punch. This sends a hooligan crashing into a wall nearby. She's surprised by her own strength. Could this be the color's power? She'd only swung her arm gently. Then, unexpectedly, many footsteps become audible, and it's the peacekeepers arriving. They start their usual routine, telling everyone to drop weapons and surrender, but then notice only the pioneers they'd been briefed on are present. They're happy everyone got out safely and thank them for their help. Ellie mentions they just did what was necessary. The peacekeeper notes they heard they rushed ahead, but they'd sorted everything out before the peacekeepers could intervene. Just like pioneers, they'd completed everything. It's a bit embarrassing. The Shade organization won't be active for a while after this. They've captured many members, so just let them handle it. They'll handle the entire cleanup. Mary thinks they need to go up. She feels like she's been stuck down here too long. Despite that, she feels oddly refreshed since things ended well. The others couldn't hold back their questions, so they started asking. Ellie observed he wasn't acting like himself. She wondered if something occurred. Kai looked down at his hand, then placed it on his face. He'd forgotten. That probably made everyone uneasy. He apologized for their concern, then put his mask on. He said he's fine now. He just had a few things bothering him, but it's not serious, so they shouldn't worry. Gale saw this and told Ellie to drop it because it's likely something from his past he won't discuss until he's prepared. They shouldn't pry. Ellie is aware. Okay, heading back up to the surface now. Blank, somehow still alive, starts his slow walk through the Undercity. He figures pure luck saved him, but his state is terrible. Death might claim him now. This journey ends here for him. He hoped to witness Kai's real nature eventually, but that won't happen, sadly. Then, a noise reaches him with someone approaching. It's Viper, and she says hello. She recalls their previous arrangement, wondering how to interpret this scenario. Viper made an effort to enter the Undercity, but her contact wasn't there. She located him eventually, but he seemed near death. He needed to deliver an item, but his condition made that difficult. Viper saw he was still alive, but this situation was troublesome. She truly disliked using this on people, but it was unavoidable. Even her small amount of poison could function as medicine, depending on its application. Sometime later, Viper returned, and her sister instantly hugged her, wanting to know why she'd been left. Her sister declared she'd join her next time. Viper recalled her sister's claim of being fine alone. She then wondered how anyone could remain calm when such things occurred the moment attention shifted. The swordsman was also aware of her delay. He wanted to know if she had brought it. Viper confirmed it. This was the creature-attracting item she'd mentioned. It had a name like Mixed or something similar. Anyway, she successfully brought in more without issues. Since she assisted, maybe she could get a bigger share of future profits too. Okay, all the preparations are done, so things can start. She leaps onto the huge ink beast, and the swordsman joins her, wondering if this method would truly affect such a massive beast. The Black Witch's will alone controls these destructive creatures. He joined her, interested in her city-clearing strategy, but he worried they might just rampage wildly. Such chaos would put them at a disadvantage. Viper wasn't fond of skepticism. Since the Black Witch was dormant, the creature's controlling power had diminished. This would boost their instincts briefly. He'd witness it firsthand. She empties a small vial onto the creature's snout, and it instantly begins to flail and stir. Viper's prediction was correct. They'd continue moving. This bright city faces total ruin. A crowd gathers near the Undercity's entrance, talking. The gangs cause trouble once more. Peacekeepers are here, or things went too far. A peacekeeper offers thanks. All gang members and defeated pioneers are now under secure escort, so they won't need to worry about future events. Someone suddenly speaks, glad it's over. Camellia mentioned urgency, so he rushed over, but there was nothing to worry about. People show happiness seeing him, even the pedestrians, and Red himself approaches Kai asking what he'd caused. He's rarely surprised, but this was truly unforeseen. Mary, his friend, changed significantly since their last meeting, and she awakened right after Kai. Too many people are watching them here, so they need to head to headquarters. They return to the Dawn Pioneer Corps, and Camellia feels happy Red delivered something amazing once more. Another awakened person emerged, just like Kai. That's truly amazing. Camellia already knows her identity, and Red asks for Camelia's opinion, because Lumial Awakeners are a major topic across the whole city. Any color appearing in a colorless individual signifies immense power, enough to shape history. This person is no different. She's a talented engineer who even drained Kai's ink. Camellia makes a fuss over her, especially with that vibrant color. She's truly stunning. Is she interested in joining the Dawn Corps? They're able to provide almost anything. She's definitely not considering other core, is she? Naturally, she knows everyone wants her, but they'll treat her way better than anyone else. Kai simply smiles. Kai observes Mary, and she gives her consent. Mary intends to join the Dawn Corps. She also has a goal to reach. Camellia finds her resolve impressive, so they should start a contract immediately. Mary just needs to sign. But before Mary can, another colorist arrives, saying he heard everything from outside, and he opposes her easy acceptance. Everyone must pass a test to join the Corps. That's the rule, so they head to an arena, and Camellia becomes furious. He's incredibly stubborn. Mary isn't awakened. He needs to consider who takes responsibility if another group recruits her. The man ignores her and stares at Mary. He questioned her readiness. It looked like she'd already picked a weapon, so he'd start explaining the test rules. It's pretty straightforward. She just needs to beat a test golem the Corps prepared. The golem's combat power marks the lowest bar for membership. After all, if this is too much for her, she shouldn't even think about entering the Blackland. It's already pretty rare they're testing her without an appointment, but the others need this to accept her. He knows she's an engineer and she's unfamiliar with combat, but if her color's real, then she should pass this test easily. She needs to proudly prove she belongs here. And just like that, the trial starts, and the golem instantly rushes forward with a strike and keeps trying to land hit after hit on her. Camellia panics and wonders what he's thinking. He threw a kid who can't even fire a gun into this. He could have trained her first. If she gets discouraged, she might leave and join somebody else. Mary doesn't catch any of that and keeps wondering what she should do. Can she actually beat a thing like this? She pushes those thoughts aside. She has color now, and running won't fix anything. So she starts channeling all her color into the spoit, driving it beyond its limits, determined to take down the golem with a single attack. She pulls it off, launching a massive attack which rips right through the HQ's roof, leaving everyone totally stunned. The yellow-haired colorist even noted she briefly matched his emission level, despite this being her initial spoit use. Her capabilities are huge, but Mary just couldn't control it, and her color started spraying all over. She kept begging for assistance since she was growing more afraid, and then punched more holes through the ceiling, just because. The ceiling cleanup starts right away, with Mary apologizing a lot, but Camellia tells her not to worry. Camellia wonders where this talent came from. That was truly amazing. Her power totally surpassed the minimum. Even with a surprise test and clear nerves, she showed her strength. So, Camellia welcomed her into the Dawn Pioneer Corps. So many talented people gathering like this is really comforting. She's excited to see what they'll do next. She calls out her uncle, the other colorist, asking if he has complaints now. He says he never did. He just needed a strong reason for her admission, even as an awakened. Skipping the process directly would have caused an uproar. That power was truly amazing, though, for total color output. She might be the best of her whole generation, and he tells her to stop calling him uncle around others. It doesn't help her image. Camellia tells him to relax. They're not in an official setting anyway. If he acts stiff all the time, he'll just get cold. With that, she pulls Mary away. She still has things to prepare for her, and they need to finish her admission paperwork. Kai was worried since the test was sudden, but he's glad it all worked out. Red approaches, asking if they're done with the welcome party. They're not busy today, right? They all shake their heads. Red thinks it's perfect timing then. He's been too busy with his own work to give them proper attention, so this is ideal. He told them to join him. He'd teach them something vital. They headed to the training grounds. No one was there, so it was perfect for practicing freely without anyone watching. A few training dummies remained. These were hard shell models. Most attacks barely scratched them. They needed to watch closely for survival in the Blackland. This technique was absolutely essential for them to master. He swung his sword at the dummy. It just clicked. An ink drain or spoit, no matter how good, wasn't omnipotent. Eventually, it would hit its limit. They'd face enemies no attack could pierce, and others that regenerated endlessly. In this situation, they needed to use chroma manifestation, letting his sword become covered in color. Ellie and Gale had seen him use this before he'd used it against that swordsman. Chroma is its name. Users pull out their inner color, covering their weapon and body, then make it glow in various shapes and forms. When they layer their colors, they get incredible power, far surpassing normal limits. This means objects they couldn't slice before now get cut perfectly. They're pioneers, so they'll need to refine this as a core skill from now on. Everyone needs a trump card since the Blackland is unpredictable. The others were impressed by the clean cut, and Kai asked if colorists must handle it freely. Red knew this was the bare minimum. For a colorist, these are basic skills. At higher rank A levels, many people use them. Going further, becoming an S-rank pioneer and passing a special exam is how they get recognized as true colorists. For now, they need to grab their weapons and get in position. He's about to show them how to train chroma. It sounds impressive, but it's really just part of who they are. They all know that moment just before their ability activates, when color is about to burst out. Usually they release every bit of it. This time, they need a different approach. Rather than sending it outward, they should picture that color sinking into both their body and weapon. It won't come naturally, but they need to draw in as much as possible. They immediately give it a try, but the process is incredibly difficult, and their color starts disappearing right away. If this keeps up, they'll end up completely colorless. Red expected it wouldn't be nearly as simple as they imagined. Even so, the three of them are off to a strong start. Some people need years before they even understand the sensation, but that doesn't mean they should get cocky. Natural talent may give them an advantage, yet making it truly their own takes hard work. Kai, on the other hand, pulls it off almost instantly. He's been doing this for some time. Is this chroma then? Ellie finally gets it. What he performed in the ruins was actually chroma. Red finds him enjoyable to instruct and believes, looking back, this outcome was probably clear. Currently, he's just shoving immense power into it. He's still only using brute force. It's fine, though. Explaining the next stage would just confuse him. Crucially, he's overusing it. He'll be colorless after just a few hits at this pace. Kai understands, but his output control is still poor. He's working to fix that now, with Red's assistance. Red gets it. Until recently, he survived the massive consumption by simply absorbing more. He instructs the other two to continue their training until chroma appears. They need to work hard if they don't want Kai to outpace them. Kai has something more pressing than chroma. Right now, he's in a tougher spot than even Gale or Ellie, depending on circumstances. He shouldn't use that spoit here. They'll return to fundamentals and practice using his color efficiently, since he's currently expending 100 units of power when 10 would suffice. That power looks good, but it'll eventually hurt him. He's tried managing it himself, but he just expends color without direction. Most of it goes to waste. He depends only on absorption, since his combat method is also risky. A slightly stronger opponent, one who can resist, would trap him. What if he suddenly lost his color? He's survived until now, but can he truly expect safety in a monster-filled dark place? Kai gets it. He faced far greater danger than he'd imagined. With the spoit gone, what's his next move? Red instructs him to unleash all his power first, saying they'll begin there. Kai complies, and Red finds it astonishing. He was quite impressed when he first saw it, and he's developed even further since then. Kai, though, is already exhausted from doing this without ink. It's hard. Red instructs him to hold it steady. If it dips at all, Red will end him. Kai protests that Red shouldn't speak that way, but Red believes he's allowed. That's a letdown. He'd hoped to become a colorist, yet he couldn't handle this. What happened to their earlier resolve? Kai gets angry, instantly declaring he'll keep it stable. Once it finished, everyone was utterly drained, having used up their ink reserves. Kai questions if this is a daily requirement moving forward. He's shocked by its difficulty. He's forgotten how much personal ink he's consumed. Red figures they all put in effort. He guesses that's typical for a first day. It's time to finish things. Everyone instantly starts leaving, assuming it's done, but Red never mentioned releasing them. He also didn't say they were complete. Actual training begins now. To finish, they'll get into some real battle practice, so they should engage him like their survival matters, because eventually, that will truly happen.